all of my subscribers doing mentally today? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our Sunday Classic Watch-Alongs. Less than 24 hours removed from the shocking heel turn of John Cena last night at the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. We were all here watching that together, and I'm still processing it. Not going to lie. I love that that happened. I'm so glad that the business has given us one of these, once in a quarter century moments that we got last night. I think that was the biggest heel turn since Hulk Hogan joining the NWO in 1996, and it's all anybody could talk about since last night. And it's been the talk of social media all day, and I think a lot of fans, regardless of what age or gender you are or what generation of a fan you are, it all affected us in different ways, and it's pretty mind-boggling and mind-blowing. So I've been processing it all night. I'm excited for Raw tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to have any Cena fallout on the show. I would assume they will. I'm hoping that Rock and Cena open the show. That's what I'm hoping, but they might be saving all that for SmackDown. I don't know. Either way, we're going to be here tomorrow night to watch Raw together because we need to follow up with this and see what all the fallout is going to be. And today, we're back doing our classic watch-alongs. It's WrestleMania season, and as I've been telling you guys over the past couple of months, that once we get to this year's WrestleMania season and we start doing the watch-alongs, that we're going to have to start doing some crappy WrestleManias because we've done a lot of the good ones, and so this is going to be the year where we're going to bust out some of the lesser popular WrestleManias. So I thought I'd start us off slowly with WrestleMania 9 because this is a show that many people actually like. I never did. I didn't really like the outdoor setting, the small crowd. It was very windy that day. It just didn't have a WrestleMania feel. I appreciate the lengths that they went to produce this show, but based on the fact that it didn't feel like the WrestleManias I was used to, plus the very disappointing ending for me when my favorite wrestler at the time, Bret Hart, lost the title, and then Hulk Hogan swooped in and stole it. We're going to be watching all of that tonight, and it's been a long time since I've gone back and watched this one from 1993. So before we do some shout-outs and stuff, head on over to your Peacock. This should be pretty easy to find. WrestleMania Season 9, Episode 1. And the runtime, according to Peacock, is 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 35 seconds. We'll all hit play here together in just a couple minutes. That timer will begin to run once we do that. And if you experience any interruptions or ads or anything like that over on Peacock, you can use the timer to sync yourself back up. I am double checking that monetization is off, so I have killed ads for this video. So you won't have any interruptions here on YouTube. It might just be a Peacock deal. So while you guys are getting yourselves set up over there on Peacock, let's just do some hellos. Let's do some shout outs. And I got a couple of super chats to answer. Good to see Melissa, and Zane G is back. What's up, dude? Always Radio is here. Tatanani in the house. We've got Just Smitty, Colin Wright, Mike Rouse, and Mike Games version 1, William Cullen, Ray Frand, George Morris is here with his token 5. Thanks for that, my friend. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? How is Tito and Elizabeth? WrestleMania 9, 5 out of 10. The second doink is Skinner. What about WrestleMania 12, 23, 25? Are we going to do those? I thought about WrestleMania 12. It's just half of that show is one match. So we'd be sitting here watching Bret Hart and Shawn wrestle for an hour with no falls. That's why I'm kind of procrastinating on 12. 23, though, has been on my list for a while. We might get to 23 this year, and 25 we might do if we haven't already. I guess we haven't done 25. I thought maybe we did. But 23 is definitely a possibility, George. I would not rule that out for this year at all. But I might try to wait until next year for 12. We'll have to see. Daniel Barry Sports, good to see you. We got Garrett Osborne in the house. Zach Palgett is here as well. We are Pro Wrestling. Caesar's parking lot, yeah, pretty much. Brandon McNeil is here as well, 7th season. We have David Brown, and Ryan Adams is here with another very generous $50 drop. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. Cena told us a month ago that winning 17 was best for business. No show for his tour. Didn't have to qualify for the Chamber. Posted a poster of himself. Rock and Scott the day before Chamber. Of himself, Rock, and who the fuck is Scott? The day before the Chamber, won because Seth prompting Punk, and he took advantage. Yeah, it all makes sense in hindsight. Ryan's right. We were talking about that last night in the review. I'm like, oh yeah, he didn't qualify for the Chamber. He took advantage of the stomp on CM Punk, really didn't hesitate there. And he hasn't been that prominent on TV since his retirement tour began. So all of it, kind of adds up in hindsight. I just had trouble believing that WWE would do it, but I'm glad that they did. And I'm glad that everybody's kind of going back and watching it and catching little things, because now they're showing how The Rock had to. After he did this, he went like that. And then at Bad Blood, he had 3. So is he going 3, 2, 1? Like, is there one more thing to happen here? I'm not really sure what he's referring to, but that could also be something. So what I like is, not only is this pretty damn shocking, this might not even be all of it. You know, they might bring Roman into the fold here, and it might be Cena and Roman and Rock, 2-man power trip with Rock playing the role of Vince. You never know. But it is cool that people are kind of going back and thinking about everything now. And what I like about this is that it does appear that this probably was WWE's plan all along. It doesn't appear that like 2 weeks ago they went to Cena and said, hey, do you want to turn heel? This might have been in the plans all along. I'm not sure if it was in the plans as far back as last summer when Cena announced his retirement, but at least for the past few months, it sounds like this might have been what they were planning. And that makes me comfortable knowing that they've had this in the works for a while and they're not just throwing it together and flying by the seat of their pants. And that's going to result in some quality TV between now and WrestleMania. Hell yeah. Crazy J, good to see you. Shell Shock as well. The Juliet is here. So is Billy Sellers, unless you had something... Okay, Billy's not watching WWE anymore, but he stopped by to tell us that, so thank you for that. Ryan, I'm still sad. That's a shame. David Brown, good to see you. Ryan is here as well. Daniel Clark, I'm not sure if I got you. Douth Waite, nice, good to see you. Thank you for being here, finally catching one of these live. And the Juliet chiming in with $2. I'm still shook, as the kids say today. I'm shook as well. But as I talked about last night, I'm really happy that there's a generation of wrestling fans right now, probably in their mid-20s, that are very conflicted, that do feel like a piece of their childhood died. And I know it sounds kind of asshole-ish to say that I'm happy about that, but I am. They need to go through that, because I went through it, and I went through it a bunch of times, and older fans have. And so now that you've had something, a heel turn like this, or a major angle go down that's like generational, that's going to have that type of effect. You haven't seen that since Hogan, because Austin wasn't the same thing. Austin at WrestleMania 17 wasn't the same thing. He didn't have that 20 years of a babyface run. He was Stunning Steve, and he was a Hollywood Blonde, and he was an ECW. He was doing a lot of stuff, so he doesn't have that longevity, as that one character. And Hulk Hogan was the closest thing, to that, with the Cena heel turn last night. So this one is unique, and even though we've had some major things happen and some major angles and some turns and returns, nothing as big as what Hogan did joining the NWO has happened since then until last night. That's what makes this so great, and I love that it affects such a wide range of the audience in such a wide range of different ways. That's money. That's money. It's going to be a good WrestleMania season. Thanks for the $2, Ryan. 2 more from you. Cody going to be calling a Rattlesnake for Mania. Maybe oh, shit. Hell yeah, because Rattlesnake didn't show up at Mania last year when we thought he would. But I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to get that. I kind of think at this point, Cena's going to win the title. But we'll be talking a lot about that more tomorrow night as well, when we are here watching Raw and doing a Raw review. All right, enough about John Cena. Let's get to this pay-per-view so we're not here all night. Hopefully you guys have got your WrestleMania 9s pulled up over on your Peacocks. We're going to go 3, 2, 1 play, and we're going to rock on this. Let me just get my fingers ready on my 2 mouses that I use. I'm in a 2-mouse system here. I got 2 mice. All right, here we go. Finger on the play button. Finger on the... Nope, not that. Finger on the timer. All right, I am locked and loaded. Y'all ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Boom. WrestleMania 9. Caesar's Palace. Did the real Caesar live here? I didn't think so. Do you have like a payphone? You got my beeper. Do you have like a payphone, like a bank of payphones I can use for my beeper? Gorilla Monsoon is our host? I thought he was our announcer. This shit's in the daylight. To me, it looks so weird watching this. I'm like, outside? We're wearing togas? In 1993, the only thing I knew about togas was from Animal House, the movie Animal House. I wasn't old enough to be in college yet and going to toga parties or nothing. Look at JR. I remember seeing him and being like, wow, Jim Ross is here. It's pretty wild that Jim Ross is probably younger in this than I am right now. I always liked Jim Ross's voice when it was a little higher pitched. You know, now he's kind of like Vince. He's got that gurgle voice. Like Triple H, Vince, and Jim Ross all have the gurgle voice. But when he was younger, man. And it was Hogan's first ever non-WrestleMania main event. Well, I guess except WrestleMania 4, but he was still involved in both. So even when he's not in the main event, he's in the main event. Fincus Maximus. Did they ever release the documentary? They filmed a bunch of shit for this. But I don't think it ever saw the light of day. Okay, so Caesar and Cleopatra are here. You got a fucking elephant. I'm glad that thing didn't go ape shit and start stomping people. Could you imagine that elephant losing his mind and just trampling fans? They'd probably still go on with the show. Just mop up the blood. It's a very well-behaved elephant. What do you think? You think the elephant is still alive? It might be. Look at him. And he knows what to do. The fact that he's so well-behaved. I feel bad for elephants in captivity. So we're getting this whole presentation here. Michael, still cool to see Hart get Yoko in a sharpshooter. Yeah, he did it, but barely. Yeah. Eating the grapes. This whole theme here reminds me of there was like a Roman type of Michael Jackson video, right? With like Eddie Murphy. Magic Johnson, right? I think it was the same year. What song was that? Was it Black and White or Remember the Time? That Michael Jackson video. That's what this reminds me of. I think it came out the same year. Do you remember? Remember that song? I got it right? That one WrestleMania banner is kind of crooked up there. Man, I want to be fed grapes by women. No women ever feed me grapes. Macho Man would have been the most fierce gladiator of them all. I don't know, man. You'd have been the best dressed. I know that. Randy Savage, who won the WWE title at the previous year's WrestleMania, is the announcer at this year's WrestleMania. Weird. He'd be gone in less than 2 years off to WCW. Randy Savage and Jim Ross. Oh, Gorilla was the host. It was Ross, Savage, and Bobby on the call for this, right? Oh, he's got an ostrich. They put Bobby on an elephant too? Is it the same elephant? Oh, no, he's on a camel. That's right. Is that the same vulture that, or the same bird that Taker comes out with later? And he's backwards. I love that the announcers get this full-on, like, Roman-style entrance. Yeah, do the animals shit right there in the aisleway? I'd hate to step over that if you're a wrestler. You get a whiff of that in the front row.
You're so right, and I'll tell you, first WrestleMania, Bobby Heenan, if he ever makes it here, will be joining us here at ringside. He is literally shaking in his sandals. Camel goes down.
Poor camel.
Bobby.
How do you fucking train a camel? Get off the camel, bro.
Are you all right?
He fell down like... Oh, God. That is too much of Heenan's back area there. Jeez. The Vestal Virgins. Savage is supposed to be on the camel. It's an attack camel. It's an emotional support camel. We didn't have too many camels in Oklahoma. Not that many. Oh, Sean's going to open the show twice in a row? Wait a minute. So I guess this would be the third straight opener for Sean. 7, 8, 9, right? He was in that tag in 7. He worked Tito at 8. And this one at 9. So 3 in a row? Do I have that right? Cool. Yes, we are pro wrestling. One match cut, Bam Bam versus Kamala. I remember that. Oh, this is Luna's. Is this Luna's first appearance? Bobby's giving us the rundown on Luna. There it is. Coliseum video. I made the mistake before going live of giving Tito a big, fat hug and kiss. And now he's irritated me, so pardon my snorts. I knew I shouldn't have done that. Yay! Barry, he worked my cat at WrestleMania 8. No, not Tito, my cat. Tito Jackson. God, Barry. Oh, there's Sherry. She's wrapping things up. This is about the end for her. I remember her, Sherry and Luna had like a crazy brawl in the Manhattan Center in like 93. And Savage like interviewed her after it. And Savage and Sherry's first time interacting since their whole split, you know? I remember Savage gave her his hat to put over her tits because they was hanging out. And then she's off to WCW. Not long after this. Now, I watched Superstars the week that Tatanka beat Sean in a non-title match.
Well, she certainly looks qualified for something along those lines. She is a bizarre looking human being. Bizarre with a capital B.
I felt like Sean went on a run there of a bunch of defenses that I thought he was going to lose. Losing to Marty at the Rumble, I thought would happen. I thought losing to Tonka here would happen. And I thought losing to Perfect at SummerSlam would happen. And he won them all. Or walked away with his title in all of them.
Luna slithers out of the ring, and Shawn Michaels taking his time.
Luna's got a bad attitude. Michael Cuomo, thanks for the 2. Oh, I did. Oh, I would have gotten back to those. Thanks for the reminder. Missed a couple of supers, including your 5. Well, let's scroll all the way back. Oh, I got that one about the sharpshooter. Did I miss another one? Oh, yeah, I did miss a couple. I missed Collins. $2. Cena heel turn, and Hibbs go 15 straight. Happy man. I'm glad it's a good day for you, Colin. That's what it's all about. There's your 5, Michael. Yo, Greg and Chad, I'm guessing we won't be seeing Tito Santana versus Papa Shango. Yeah, that one's not on this card either. That, I think, was a dark match. I don't know if that was bumped, but it was dark, I believe. Right? Indiana. Minotaur, thank you for the 5. Triple H is such a grade A chef. Next thing you know, good mic work will turn heel just because Triple H can make it happen. Triple H ain't perfect, but I'm very happy that they did what they did last night. I'm glad to see that they have the balls to do that. Because I always thought Triple H was pretty conservative.
That's true.
I always thought it was weird the way the sun was coming in. You got half the crowd shaded, half of them in the sun. It was windy as all hell. I'm curious what the temperature was in Las Vegas on the date of WrestleMania 9. There's ways to look that up, right? Yes, Wade. Rest in peace, Joey Morella, who is the official for this one. He would die about a year and a half later.
Michael's in control and maintains that control with a side headlock. Michael's a very talented competitor, quite obviously. He's the Intercontinental Champion.
Very, very, very talented. He's a great wrestler.
Near fall there. That side headlock position here in the early going of this championship event.
Well, that'd be funny if Tano was taking a nap and got his shoulders counted down on 3.
Tatanka, not Tana.
Tatanka? Something like that, or Tano. Tatanka, the whole world knows what his name is. He's been upsetting Shawn Michaels in non-title bouts, and he's going to do it for the title.
By Tatanka. Tremendous suplex as he planted Michael.
Yeah, I definitely remember thinking at the time that they were going to put the belt on Tatanka. I'm kind of glad that they didn't, looking back. Wow. Arm drag off the top.
Unbelievable. I've never seen that done before. I would safely say that Tatanka feels it. He wants it bad.
Shawn up and over. God, it's so fun to watch. 1993 Shawn Michaels. Because I think this year Shawn will be 60. He's a 60 boy. 60. Oh, here we go. Luna and Sherry. Of course you're confused. You're from Oklahoma. Okay, 81 degree. All right, I was about to say, because it definitely does not seem cold out there. Even the fans are dressed pretty warmly, but...
Bottom line, Tatanka's doing the thing, and there he is again. He's all over the ring. Well, it's obvious to me the reason Sensational Sherry came around was to keep Luna out of it.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas for a couple wrestling shows in May and in August. Both times it was hot as fuck.
Stop Tatanka cold in his feet right there. You won't find that illegal movement in the World Wrestling Federation.
Thumb right to the eye. Certainly curtailing the momentum that Tatanka was attempting to build here. And one more time, the Intercontinental Champion goes up top by wrist move.
Oh, that's a shitty looking sunset flip.
Executed.
No, he didn't.
Not good.
Couldn't get him hooked.
Who are those two guys in the front row in the black wearing the sunglasses? Is it like Siegfried and Roy?
Irish whip, center of the ropes. Pace is quickening here. Nice athletic move by
It might be Siegfried and Roy.
And Bobby, you might want to analyze that. I'm sure that's happened to you a few times.
No, it's never happened to me. I would never get myself in a spot like that.
Bobby said he would never put himself in a position to be atomic dropped. I can remember at least 3 times, just right off the top of my head, that he's been atomic dropped. I think all of them were by Hogan.
In any event, Tatanka makes a tremendous adjustment and caught him with a DDT.
You notice how Shawn Michaels is favoring that left shoulder.
Will Shawn ever wrestle again? Let's hope not.
Six-man tag match where Tatanka
But since he already screwed up his retirement by wrestling that Saudi match, at this point, I wouldn't even care if he did. Go ahead, get in the ring, whatever. You've already fucked your legacy up, so... And that match was so horrifically bad that maybe he would like to have his last in-ring memory to be something a little bit better than that. I understand that. But I also think that he should have just not gotten back in the ring to begin with, and then he wouldn't have this problem. So I don't need Shawn in the ring at 60. Just, it's not necessary for me as a fan to see that.
Shoulder there, really challenging the healing powers, shall we say, of Shawn Michaels. Tatanka, that arm bar, and both men in a vertical position here, and Tatanka with the advantage. And Michaels tried to get an unfair advantage.
Trying to get a handful of mullet back there on Tatanka.
You gotta expect the unexpected from Shawn Michaels. He realizes he's in the danger zone. What a title match so far. Oh, like you're
Luna is such a bizarre valet for Shawn.
Pulling hair, Bob.
my record's not clean. I never said it was.
He hurt his own shoulder. I'm telling you, he hurt his own shoulder there.
Point of the match right there, possibly.
And Tatanka drops his leg.
Tatanka going after the shoulder, smart.
Doctor, and postpone this match until a later date.
Shh.
You would face the situation being you, Bobby Heenan.
Heenan, Savage, and JR are directly in the sunlight. Neither of them, except for Savage, are wearing sunglasses.
Again, the focus of this particular offensive strategy for the challenger Tatanka is to punish that injured shoulder. The big question here is how much has it healed? How well has Michael's therapy and rehabilitation? How well has it worked?
Well, Ross, you wouldn't know anything about sports injuries because the only thing you probably did was play horseshoes down in Oklahoma. But I'll tell you, it takes a long time for something like that to recuperate. Just shows you what a great champion he is to gut it out and get in the ring. You're right about that. Shawn Michaels is a great champion. He's here at the Roman Coliseum defending the title, even though we know he's been hurt. That's cool. But
That's cool.
Tatanka's got a shot at the title, no excuse.
And I'm guessing with this setup here, they had to build all these stands and stuff. So I don't think they're dealing with seats. I think they're dealing with bleachers. So
Steal there,
I think your seat is just like a number, you know? It would have been weird to attend this show.
right there.
The referee's asking him if he wants to give up right now. You know that he's in a lot of pain. Oh, I like to watch this Luna. She is something.
Yeah, what is she?
I would say a dreamboat.
A dreamboat.
Is she from Oklahoma?
Absolutely
she's
not.
pretty.
Nobody looks like that in Oklahoma, I can tell you.
Yeah. You know, Sherry doesn't care who wins this match as long as it's not Shawn.
Well, that's good deductive reasoning, Bob.
That's coming to my mind. Make me ride a camel. I'm going to be the worst I've ever been this year.
Shoulder breaker. Good old shoulder breaker.
Right here.
I would have covered him right there.
Drops that heavy elbow. A great deal of velocity on Shawn Michaels.
He's hurt.
He really is in a lot of trouble here. Tatanka now to take a chance. He's up on the top rope. Can he finish him off?
Here comes his top rope chops.
Right on that shoulder.
That tomahawk chop right on the insertion of the shoulder.
Come on, Luna, do something.
Tatanka one more time. Climbing up top. Oh,
Ooh,
Michaels.
got hit with a super kick off the top. I like it.
Shawn Michaels, bottom line.
Good to see you, Adam and Hassan, G-Man,
In a circle. It's all over.
Wade, Barry, Allen,
Both men really
everybody else saying hello. Good to see you. Welcome to WrestleMania 9.
championship event, our first event here at WrestleMania 9. As we are coming to you live from the Roman
Oh, I thought those two people in the front in the black and the sunglasses were two dudes. The blonde is a woman. So I guess it's not Siegfried and Roy.
I can't help liking this. Sherry does not want Luna to help Shawn Michaels in any way. Listen to these people in the Roman Coliseum. Luna, twist her head off if you like.
Tatanka trying to fight his way back.
I do like that Sherry has found someone that can match her craziness. She was dealing with Elizabeth for so long.
Takes him head first into the apron of the ring. Referee Joe Morella exercising his count here.
Now count to 10, dummy.
Tatanka got to shake it loose here, Randy.
Mm.
High risk move.
With a bad shoulder.
Big time
Imagine that. Bobby the Brain Heenan, I agree with you. Shawn Michaels,
I agree with you.
I know why he's here. Fantastic. High risk maneuver, and he went for it. No doubt it's WrestleMania 9.
Tatanka fighting desperately to return to the ring. And Michaels again not giving him very much distance here.
Well, that's how to win a match. Stay on it.
Vegas, I don't think has a not at Allegiant Stadium is not retractable,
Kick him all you want in the face. Doesn't
as far as I know.
matter anyway.
I don't think it is. I've been there. Didn't look retractable, unless I'm unaware of it.
And Michaels doing a little taunting. Associate,
Look at this confrontation right here. Shawn Michaels and Sherry.
Sean's chasing Sherry away. Or trying to, anyway.
For him, though. Wouldn't that be something if Sherry beat Shawn Michaels and she was the Intercontinental Champion?
Carried the right hand deep in the midsection. And Michaels
Neck breaker.
You bet.
swinging neck breaker, lateral press, 1, 2 and a half.
That's close. I'd say that was 2 and 5/8.
2 and 5/8.
Michaels back in control. Good
Nice drop kick.
cutting move by the champion. And again, he hooks the near leg, goes to the cover, and another near fall. Michaels back in control.
Shawn Michaels knows what he has to do.
I don't know what the exact crowd for this was, but it was definitely well under 20,000.
Reverse chin lock. Michaels controlling the tempo. Offensively here at this point in time in the contest.
Luna is just pacing up and down like a caged animal. Look at her. She hasn't
16, about 17,000 they've got for the, definitely the lowest attended WrestleMania.
looks like an animal. You're right, Weasel.
You are right, Weasel.
I am right.
Knock it off. Michaels.
How would you like to come home a half hour late from work, Ross? And have her waiting for you at the door.
I don't think that'd be too pleasant.
Shh.
Tatanka reaching down now, trying to build some momentum here. Not gonna go for the leg. Well, that forearm right to the abdomen of Shawn Michaels, and Michaels very relentless holds on to that chin lock. Now stinging left jabs.
No left jabs by Sean.
Corner caught him the right.
Jabbing with a hurt shoulder.
I mean, at least you know you got a nice breeze out here. You're not going to get too hot.
Look at this. Look at the moves this man knows.
What is Sean?
High risk offense as Michaels goes upstairs. What's
Is he trying to a victory roll? God, that looked like shit. What are you guys doing? That was an attempt at a victory roll. It's probably the
I'm impressed with both these
worst attempt I've ever seen in my life.
100%. They're going for it. I like it.
two spectacular young athletes here? For stinging left hand. Another big time right.
Yeah, I just looked up the same thing. I saw the 16,891 number, just under 17. 16 or 17 is where it's at. Point is, it's a very low attended Mania. Because it's a makeshift arena they have. They just set up bleachers, I think.
Tatanka shows great strength. Moves up with him. And a follow-in slam. Michaels right back on the back of his head. And the Intercontinental Champion is back in trouble here.
Big mistake. Shawn Michaels is taking a chance. And what better place to do it than Las Vegas, where gambling is legal? You know, Tatanka was aware of the situation.
The funny thing is, I don't know, during the lead up to WrestleMania 9, I'm trying to remember watching the TVs and stuff. The way I remember it is that because I was only like 15 or 16, I didn't know what Caesar's Palace was. So when they're telling us WrestleMania 9 is live from Caesar's Palace, I don't know if on TV WWE was telling us it was outdoors. because I kind of remember being surprised that seeing it was outdoors when I watched it. So they might have mentioned on TV that it's an outdoor show, but I kind of thought, and maybe people who knew about Vegas would understand that it was going to be an outdoor show, but I kind of thought Caesar's Palace might be an indoor place. I didn't know. But if as an adult, I would have been able to deduce that, but I was just a teenager. I had no fucking idea. I'd never been to Vegas before. So I remember being surprised, I think, not knowing until the day of the show that it was outside. I think. Sean with the sell. It's not a great opener. Match has not been tremendous. It's a good high cross. Who's watching Luna? Slingshot, not my favorite move. Every roll-up and everything they've tried to do has been off. Like the roll-up, the victory roll. Oh, he's going for his finisher. That's the end of the trail, Samoan drop. Now, there's a shitty roll-up. This whole match is bad. I think the match they had on TV when Tatanka beat him in the non-title match was better than this. Oh, caught him on the top rope power slam. The referee was slow. He should have counted earlier. I forgot what the finish is here. It might be a count out. Who are they chanting? Oh, Sherry. I thought it was Jerry. I'm like, this is Jerry. Jerry, Jerry. No, they're chanting Sherry. Oh. Oh. Is that going to be a... Oh, yeah. That's right. Now, this is so stupid. What? I remember now. He's tapping him. Yeah, Savage is right about that. That's a shitty match, shitty finish. Everything about that was shitty. Prayers for Truth and Stu. The Cena run is no more. I stopped by Truth's house today. I brought him some breakfast. He's really struggling, so I didn't want him to go hungry. So I went by his house. He hasn't even left the bed since last night. So I brought him some breakfast, gave him some juice, told him everything's going to be okay. It's hard for him, So if you have time, just reach out to R-Truth. Tell him you're thinking about him. He was definitely pretty dejected when I visited him today. And Tatanka loses... or wins via DQ, but if Joey Morello really wanted to get back at Sean, he would have counted the 3. I can't believe for WrestleMania, that's what they came up with for an acceptable finish for an Intercontinental Championship match. Dun, 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 dun. Well, he's still doing his salute, even though.
Eat your heart out, Sherry. You got all dressed up for nothing, bimbo.
Bobby, come on. Sensational Sherry giving the top up. Wait a minute. There's Luna Vachon.
Did I ever play the Royal Rumble game on Genesis? Yeah, it's on the shelf over here.
Luna Vachon.
And Luna is.
And she planted Sensational Sherry right up here.
It's always one thing I noticed about women's wrestling back in the day. You don't see it a lot now, but women's when they went for scoop slams, they would do it like a suplex. They put you in suplex like a vertical, but then they pick you up and slam you. So they just did it different.
You always did. Let's start with the makeup.
Let me tell you something, the tiger's right there, but I know something about Sensational Sherry. She's as tough as they come. She can beat 80% of the man.
Yeah, but she can't beat Luna.
Sensational Sherry could certainly be very seriously injured here. And she's going to, I would think, need some help. She was kicked right in the ribs several times, slammed on the...
We Are Pro Wrestling. I think I agree. The Steiner's Head Shrinkers match isn't half bad, and it's probably the best match in the ring on the whole show.
All right, well, we got Mean Gene Okerlund is standing by, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to our colleague, Mean Gene Okerlund, and a special interview.
All right, Mean Gene.
Julius Caesar himself would be proud to be part of this WrestleMania. Right here in his very own
Look at Gene.
Just as I'm proud to be part of this extravaganza. Action already very, very hot and heavy, and still more to come in the form of a big tag team bout. On their way to the ring right now, the Head Shrinkers. Their opponents, unquestionably, one of the most promising tag teams I have ever seen in World Wrestling Federation history. And with the University of Michigan on a roll this weekend in the hoops, I want to welcome...
Oh yeah, that's right. The Fab Five was running hard in the Wolverines in 1993. They lost. Chris Webber called a timeout he didn't have.
WrestleMania, but Head Shrinkers, I got a message for you guys. This might be our first WrestleMania, but it'll be one to be remembered.
Rick, you're ready for this one.
You know, Gene, these guys are unpredictable. Nobody knows where they're coming from. But me and my brother are going to go out with a game plan. We're going to do what we do best, and that's wrestle. We're going to make Julius Caesar proud.
Thank you very much, the Steiner brothers. With that, let's get back to ringside.
Woo, woo.
This tag team contest is scheduled for
Well, those comments from the Steiner brothers and the team, their alma mater, University of Michigan, really on a roll here.
The Head Shrinkers, check it out.
As the Head Shrinkers are being introduced. Caesar's Palace here transformed into...
Now the sons of two of these men actually swapped Intercontinental Championships this past year, Jey Uso and Breakker. And I think we still have to get, like, it would have been cool if Jey Uso faced Braun Breakker at WrestleMania, because I don't know if we've had yet two guys who have faced at a WrestleMania whose fathers also faced at a WrestleMania. I don't think we've had that yet. Uso and Breakker would be the closest thing if that match ever gets done at a Mania. Yeah, Gene's about 6 months away from WCW. He is on his way out. He's there through SummerSlam. I know that, but gone shortly after. Seventh season, appreciate the 5. If they want to draw Mega Heat on Cena, have him attack Truth. I think they already got Mega Heat on Cena by having him attack, by having him just turn in general and attacking Cody. I think he's already got the Mega Heat. I think the R-Truth thing would just be extra. What I would do is I would turn Austin Theory babyface, and I would make Austin John Cena's first title defense and make it a squash. And I mean a squash, to where Theory doesn't even get a punch in and he's left laying in a pool of his own blood. That's what I would do. Cena exercising that demon from WrestleMania 39 and giving Austin Theory like a opponent handpicked by the final boss. Like The Rock picks him to face Cena, and do it on pay-per-view. And just have it be Cena just kill him. Solidifying the fact that he's got the backing, of the final boss. And he's going to be bulletproof and pretty untouchable for as long as he's associated with The Rock. And then maybe at the end of the year, that relationship crumbles and Cena retires as a babyface. That's probably where it's all going. A little redemption arc for Cena right at the end.
Arm drag takedown by Scott Steiner, picking his big man off his feet.
You have noticed about the Steiners, they never keep a hold on you too long. They love to pick you.
And at the time, I was stoked that the Steiners were in the WWE.
But this is a big team, the head shrinkers.
Double leg takedown.
I was glad to see him there.
Scotty going for the cover, hooks that arm, and takes it into the arm bar, and now goes for the head, got the head and shoulder tied up momentarily, back to the arm bar.
The Michigan Wolverines are not only proud of their basketball team getting ready for the NCAA finals, but they're proud of the Steiner brothers also.
Who cares about high school sports?
College sports.
Same thing, 24 years difference, you don't get any cash for it. Just a bunch of little kids.
Crosby haven't got time to educate Heenan.
You're right about that.
I need
Give
an
it up,
education.
give it up.
I'm the brain, macho man.
Self-proclaimed.
They're trading those big right hands. Who's going to fall first here? Scott Steiner and Fatu really hammering each other.
Oh, I love that twisting sell that Fatu always did.
High impact at its finest there. Fatu.
Mike Witt, appreciate the $10, my friend. Hey, Greg and chat, messaging you on my break. Damn, you're at work. Mania 9 Classic Taker and Gonzalez match. Next week, since I'm off, Mania 2. Okay. Cody regains title in Cena's last match, end of year. Yeah, I kind of think something like that could happen. That'll be a long run for Cena, though. But maybe that's why they're positioning, Jay to, be the champion that's going to be on TV the most. Super over babyface on one side and part-time heel on the other. I like it. Maybe Mania 2 we'll do next week, Mike, for you, since you're off. We'll pencil that in. Look at the Steiners are both on the top rope. That is so crazy. Wow. The fact that wasn't botched. This is when I liked Scott Steiner the most, was in these days. I was not a Papa Pump fan. Didn't like the character, didn't like anything about him. But I loved him here. I just never saw the appeal in Papa Pump. I thought there were so many better characters out there in wrestling at that time.
In the first aid station here at Caesar's Palace, and the details are sketchy.
By Luna?
Luna attacked sensational sheriff
Oh, yeah, Luna does have the attack backstage. I forgot. We might see footage of that later.
moments ago.
On that there Coliseum video.
Today at WrestleMania 9.
Coliseum video exclusive.
Go back and find out exactly what's going down. But that Campbell's back there.
Samu and Rick Steiner. Big time chop there by Samu and down goes Steiner.
Would be surprised if Luna worked over the Campbell a bit.
Thank you. Crazy Jay, I forgot. Next Sunday is AEW Revolution, which I might still go to. But either way, if not, I'm going to be here watching it. Yep. So we're not going to be doing a WrestleMania watch-along next week. Sorry, Mike. Are you off the following Sunday? I'm glad you guys reminded me of that, because I would have felt like a moron if I would have put up a link tonight for that. So instead, I'll put up a link for Revolution.
But you can't hurt him. You hit him in the head all day. It'll slow him down for a minute or so.
Scotty Mick gets a tag for his older brother Rick. Hooks both arms and takes down Samu. Big time velocity and Fatu drop kick.
Drop kick.
Well, almost sent him not through the rope. Well, through literally. Irish whip far side. And Scotty,
Oh, my God.
he was taken all the way outside.
What the fuck? Is he dead? Well, he's not dead because he goes on to become Big Papa Pump, but Jesus, I forgot about that bump. Oh! Now bamboo stick? I don't think that's even a kendo. I just think that's a piece of bamboo that Alpha's munching on.
The baseball season starts tomorrow. What a better hit. I couldn't believe.
Talk about an upset right here. The Steiner brothers.
Show, oh, I guess they didn't do too many replays back then. Show that fucking bump again. God. One little ring, one little like mat, gym mat out there.
During the original Roman Coliseum,
Nowadays, everything's padded. The pads are padded.
got it on here.
Steiner's hurt. He's hurt bad.
He's hurt. We'll talk about pain. Shawn Michaels wrestled that whole
I guess what he was trying to do was fall back and clothesline him over the top, on his neck.
Gotta admire that.
But I've never seen a man
but he just overshot it and just threw Scott right over the top rope. That is crazy. Should be noted here, I believe this is the second WrestleMania in a row with the yellow and black ropes. I think he was back to red, white, and blue by WrestleMania 11. Also, I'm pretty sure in WWE, this is the first time I had ever seen non-red, white, and blue ropes. I don't think they ever did that. I mean, unless you go way back to the MSG days. But once Hogan got there and became champion, I cannot think of a single show where those ropes weren't red, white, and blue. So this is the first show that I ever saw in WWE that didn't have red, white, and blue ropes. If I'm forgetting a show, let me know. But I think I'm correct about that. Mike Witt, thanks for the $5. I hope you heard that about Revolution next week. So no WrestleMania 2. Are you off the week after? I'll pencil in 2 for that one. A spring-summer feud between Face Punk and Heel Cena might be a fun program. Yeah, I said that last night in the review, and I put it on Twitter. I would love CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank. How great. How great. How great would that be? Cena defending against Punk? At the time in WWE, I was a massive fan of both of these teams because as a kid, I grew up with the Wild Samoans. Like, they were tag team champions like when I was born. And like I remember them being there when Hogan returned from the AWA. So I always had tiny childhood memories of them. So seeing these guys here, I thought was really cool. Seeing Sika come back in the late 80s was also cool. And the Steiners I love from WCW. So to me, this would have been the counterpart to the Hearts and Demolition, 3 years later. Mike Rouse, the other head shrinker is Samu. I don't remember whose son he is. Samu might be Tama's brother. I think, but shit, I'm not sure. That's a hard family tree to keep track of. Barbarian came in when Samu left, the following year. He came in to be the other head shrinker, but he wasn't related to those guys, so it was just kind of different. Okay, cool, Mike. You're off in 2 weeks. Book it. So Revolution next week, WrestleMania 2, 2 weeks in. He's Jacob Fatu's dad. Gotcha. Thank you, Doug Unfunny. But who's his brother? Who's Samu's brother? Oof. Who was the guy that was in Evolution for, not Evolution, Randy's group for a minute and a half? Whose son was he? Oh, Samu is the son of Afa. Okay, that much. No, I guess I didn't know that. Samu is Afa's son. Okay.
I believe that's the first time the Shrinkers went for a pin. They've just been pounding on the Steiners. Well, Scott Steiner for the last 15 minutes.
And Samu, I believe, I remember hearing that he had fallen ill, but he didn't pass away, did he? Manu's who I'm thinking of. That whole WrestleMania thing in Vegas last year where they put the whole family tree up. I just need to save that, have it on my wall for reference. Wait, who's this fucker's dad? I look up there. Okay, that's right. Like the periodic table of the elements. Just do that for the for the bloodline. to refer back to. It's really a good idea to have that plastered in your house. If you're a wrestling fan, you shouldn't have the elements on your wall. You should have the Samoan family tree on the wall.
Farm girls, what they look like in Oklahoma. It's a suburb of Kentucky, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Yeah, Heenan, and you'd be lucky to get one of them.
I wasn't talking to you.
Next to Arkansas. Kick right to the abdomen by Samu.
Oh, anybody ever came out of Arkansas and made themselves.
Bobby Heenan is just shitting on Arkansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma.
Stay on it.
Talking about Oklahoma farm girls and stuff. Like, Bobby,
Really being tested here.
And they're keeping Scott Steiner in there.
I've never been to Oklahoma, but I'm sure there are plenty of pretty women there. Shout out to Bill Alfonso, our official for this one. Sans whistle. Sans crack mouth. But other than that, that's Bill Alfonso. Wow, Samu flew. Samu really flew. And Samu back in the day, you know, I mentioned the Wild Samoans earlier on. When I was a kid, Samu did come in and be a third Samoan there for a while when Afa or Sika was hurt, I forget. So Samu was around when I was a kid in the first couple of renditions of the Samoans in WWE. Because they were in and out. They were in there in the 70s, left, came back in the 80s. But Samu was brought in to be a third. God. I like how Rikishi's hair is kind of short, so he kind of looks like he's just got a big fro, which I love.
This won't work.
That won't work. Do your homework, Scott. Ah, Rick Steiner.
Too much from the head shrinkers. The head shrinkers want it. They can taste it.
Yeah, Rick Steiner never was one for homework.
They're right back to Jack Tony and say, we want a title match. And they'll get it.
He's wearing earmuffs in summertime, so. Oh. Double skull crushing finale. I like it.
Head shakers, taking them straight down. I mean, with a tremendous amount of velocity and really taking some liberties, perhaps with the official there.
Okay, thank you. I knew Tama was somebody's. Thank you, Bowles Bowles movement. Doomsday. Holy shit! They had Robbie up in the Doomsday. He countered the Doomsday into a power slam. And Rick Steiner smashed. That's the best counter to a Doomsday I've ever seen. Way to go, Dogface.
What great moves.
What great moves.
And also drove his head. Look at that.
Don't celebrate before you get it done. Constructive criticism from the Macho Man to the Steiner brothers.
When's the last time, Ross, you or Savage have seen any two teams take a beating like these two teams have?
I can't recall.
I can't recall.
Oh. And he got him. It didn't look good, but he got it. And for some reason, Jim Ross called it the Steiner line. But I was happy to hear Jim Ross call a Steiner Brothers match in WWE. To me at the time, in 93, that was cool. Because I was like, wow, it's kind of cool. Like, these guys are in WWE now. And it's an announcer who I'm used to hearing when they wrestle. But it's in WWE. All that was cool. It's always been cool to me. Ever since I was a kid, I've always just loved when you see defections and guys jumping companies and stuff. It made it fun. That's why I'm glad AEW's around. Oh, he clown-faced Caesar? Oh, doink. All right, we're still in the Matt Bourne days here of doink.
I've seen you play tricks on kids. I mean, really sick type tricks.
I got a good sense of humor.
Throwing pails of water on little kids, hitting them in the face with pie. But the
Doink.
most memorable took place in front of a national television audience when you doink. Apparently tore your arm right out of its socket and from behind attack crushed the man you're going to be.
I remember watching Doink in the... see, that looks like Matt Bourne right there. You can tell it's him there. That's early Doink when they're first starting to figure this out. But I remember when I first started seeing Doink, you could tell he was a wrestler because he was wearing gear and he was big. So before he attacked Crush, you knew that eventually he was going to attack somebody. I remember having that conscious thought several times. I'm like, this is definitely an angle.
You know, Doink is, as you watch watch the replay of that action. I cannot believe you seem to take enjoyment in it. You relish it, the thought of it all.
I'm bringing a sense of humor to this party. WrestleMania 9.
You know, you laugh, but it could be that your opponent, Crush, will have the last laugh. Because ever since that incident occurred, he has vowed revenge, and it could happen here at WrestleMania 9.
Oh, revenge would be sweet. But I guarantee you, after WrestleMania 9, Crush may be seen double vision.
Let's get back to ringside.
Here comes Doink. Mike Witt, thanks for that $10 from earlier. I still say instead of Bash at the Beach, Hogan should have turned heel on Warrior after he handed the belt to Warrior after Mania 6. That would have been legendary. Yeah, but you gotta spread out your moments though. You know, you're making the Ultimate Warrior, so that's got to be his moment, and you have to let that have its room to breathe. And then I think the Hogan turn, maybe the following year in the rematch. That's where you do it. You do the rematch at WrestleMania 7, and maybe Hogan cheats to win the belt back. I'd do it that way. Otherwise, you're raining on Warrior's coming out party, you know? That's my only issue with that. But imagine if something like that would have happened back then. It would have blown my little 13-year-old mind, that's for sure. Ryan Adams, thanks for the 5. Face Orton versus heel Cena plus another Orton return overshadowed by a bigger moment. Yeah, that's right, because Orton and Punk, right? But what if, when Rock was doing all this stuff, what if there's another person joining? What if after WrestleMania, Randy Orton joins John Cena? And they're the two-man power trip with Rock in the middle. And then maybe Roman joins them. And they've got this, but there's only 2 world titles. So one of them would have to settle for less. But what if Cena and Orton teamed up as a heel faction or something? I don't know. And here comes Doink.
Watch how the expression changes. Look at the eyes. This man is sick. I like him.
This character was kind of ahead of its time. It's fucking so much crapped away potential. A lot of that's just because Matt Bourne was a fuck up. And so it was tough to keep him in that role. And they had to replace him. But so you can't really help that. But if Matt Bourne would have remained in the role for 5 years, he would have been very successful in this gimmick. Like if they would have never had to turn him babyface, because once he was gone, then they just kind of turned him babyface and added Dink. But if he would have been evil clown, terrorizing people and evolving a little bit, maybe changing his gear as the years go by and becoming more and more sadistic. Imagine Doink and The Undertaker. That would have been a great feud. Oh, yeah, that was quite the post shot.
Doink is not laughing now.
Well, I don't think Doink knows where he's at.
This one may be over quick.
He could have had like a Bray Wyatt Funhouse thing. He could have done a thing where he was regular Matt Bourne doing a TV segment called The Clown Show or something like that. And then
He's got a trick up his sleeve. He's prepared.
he would morph into evil clown when he was ready to do his evil.
An aggressive wrestler.
I agree with you. He's shown some great scientific wrestling. But he made
But I could see Doink and Matt Bourne doing a lot of the same things that Bray Wyatt and The Fiend did, but maybe just scaled back for 1993. But that would have been good stuff.
And Doink the Clown has been unable to get out of the blocks here. Irish whip. Side. Gosh, what block. Shook the ring there.
Thanks for the 5, Chris. That's the second match in a row. Move off the top was countered with a power slam, and it happens in the Crush vs. Doink match too. Interesting.
Crush outside.
A lot of people were going for that.
Right hand to the head. I don't think it's phasing the big man from Hawaii.
just making a matter.
Just making it matter. Bigger, better matter.
Crush.
With that temper of Crush, they can tip over the table on us and tear all my headsets up and everything. He's dangerous.
These people
away from me.
love the big man from Hawaii. Came to TCB, take care of business.
Kick right to the midsection. Going for an 8.
I wish Crush had some more gear. I mean, it's just so outlandishly babyface, like the bright fluorescent bullshit. Everything was so bright and fluorescent in 93, but I would have had something a little more Hawaiian themed for Crush, you know, in his gear.
Right to the face. Crush has been very dominant here in this contest thus far, Macho Man.
I think Doink is going to be the one seeing double vision after that. Look at this.
Snaps his neck.
Love it,
Crush.
love it, love it.
Love it, love it, love it. Referee
Just really gaining a
and both wrestlers are passed away in this one.
gun to him by this evil clown.
You understand something. Crush started it. Before he was
Who's scarier, Doink or Pennywise? Well, I never watched the Pennywise stuff because I don't like horror movies, but Doink's pretty close to that from the little bit I know about Pennywise.
pain factor. And I know who he's doing it for. He's doing it for all the kids all over the world. He hasn't tried to pin him yet. He hasn't even tried to use it. What did I just say? What he's trying to do, Heenan?
Aren't you listening, Bobby?
I'm listening. I'm trying to make a point. A broadcast journalist, I don't like to be interrupted. Close your mouth.
Like, I think Crush could have came back as Crush, you know, like how he would be. He would go heel later in the year and reunite with Master Fuji and wear face paint. And so I like that Crush better than this happy, look at how fluorescent of a babyface I am, Crush.
No doubt about it.
He has got great skill.
That's all I'm going to say good about Doink. I'm really jealous because you can't make people happy.
Yes, right up the top rope now. He
You know, last Sunday, 1 week ago, I had my bone marrow biopsy, so I was in a little bit of pain last week in the watch along, so sorry about that, but it still hurts. And I just took my bandage off a day ago, so I had a bandage on all week. I bled for days. Oh! And it's still sore. It's crazy. I guess this is what being stabbed feels like.
well, that pile driver was very well done. Perfectly executed. And a kick to the ribs, chest cavity there.
It sucks that some of Doinky's face paint is coming off, considering what they have planned here for the finish,
Break the pineapple head.
which at the time I thought was brilliant. I really liked that.
Head into the post. Doink the clown being admonished by the
What's
official.
happening right here is that everybody's psyched to the max
Believe it or not, this is
for WrestleMania.
this Doink's second WrestleMania match, as Matt Bourne wrestled in the first WrestleMania against Ricky Steamboat.
There's a lot of strength to slam a man
Very impressive.
over 300 pounds.
He's over 300 pounds by average of 30, 40 pounds. All right, watch this now.
I think his payday was probably a little bit higher for this one. Whoopee cushion? Nope. Missed.
Crush able to get the foot up. And he caught Doink the clown right in the face.
That'll loosen your teeth.
Victor Bullock. No, I do feel better, Victor. That's the point. I feel way better than last week.
Even a dentist.
But thank you.
Shake it loose.
Well, to be a dentist, you have to have an education.
Doink takes him face first into the top turnbuckle.
Crush is hurt.
Chop right across the chest there.
But I believe you got to get Crush down. You can't stand up and physically go at it with him. He's too big, too massive.
Yep, there's that power slam spot. At least that one there was a little bit of a delay. That was more of a catch and then a slam. He made a football move, you know, with him.
Clothesline.
But still the same thing.
Over and down outside goes Doink the clown. And Doink goes, where's he going, guys? They put him in the ring. Well, he was
Yeah, Crush and Repo Man.
Trying to hide.
That was hilarious. Watching those two guys wrestle.
Crawl through to the other side, but
I'm
behind.
like, why didn't you just stay Demolition then? You know, like, what the fuck? These aren't any better. Repo Man.
That before. Little overconfident Doink is. Look at this strength. The strongest man.
extends the arms, military press.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Listen what he's doing, folks.
He'll squeeze the ooze out of that green hair, perhaps.
Squeeze the ooze. Fucking great, Khali.
And he's caught him there.
He's got him in it, but he made it to
I would not want my head smushed like that.
There to
square on the referee.
referee inadvertently knocked down there.
Well, I gotta admit, I think the Crush got mad at the referee for trying to break it. He wants Doink so bad. There goes
All right, so now he's going under the ring.
stop him right now.
Trying to get away again.
Trying to get away from Crush, no doubt. I know what's under there. He's going for one of those big pipe wrenches they use to construct the ring and everything here. He's gonna part his hair with a pipe wrench or a crescent wrench.
He's lost all his makeup.
Men do desperate things, and Doink is desperate to say the least.
I'm concerned about the official who is lying there motionless.
No, he's just out cold. That's all he is.
Crushed with the spinning heel kick. Or reverse kick. Reverse crescent kick or something. Whatever that was.
He's got it again.
Put him out, Crush.
Squeezing there.
That a baby.
Takes him down.
Oh my God.
What's going on here? Where's another one? He caught him from behind. With that arm.
Two clowns.
The last time they checked it, I'm slapping myself in the face. You know what this is? This is an illusion.
This is an illusion. I love Heenan selling it. It's an illusion. What a great illusion.
There's things coming.
He broke it over his hand.
Look at that. They've got all kinds of things in
Look.
How does he do it? Look at this. This is one of the greatest tricks I've ever seen. Remember what Doink said about double vision? There's a battery laying in the ring.
It was inside that.
Huh. What do you guys say? I think they said the other Doink is Skinner.
What a great illusion.
I think Skinner and I think Steve Lombardi. We're all Doinks, right?
Stay a shock right now. There are two Doinks. David Copperfield.
And then there's like a third one too, like a enhancement talent too. It's magic. It was a great illusion. Eat your heart out, Houdini. Hey, there's Vlad. Check him out, looking buffed.
Crowd here certainly not very pleased with what they have seen here.
You just think you saw two Doinks. You've been in that moonshine again from Oklahoma, Ross.
I know.
Crush looked like a limited edition can of orange slice. Orange slice. I remember slice.
I know I saw two of them.
I just watched the movie for the first time, Joe versus the Volcano from like 1989. I've never seen it before. We watched it like last week. And they go to like that island, that deserted island where they're all obsessed with orange soda. And you bring it to them as gifts.
One king from underneath the ring. And he saw what we all saw.
He's telling them exactly what happened. It was underneath the ring.
Just look underneath the ring and we get it done.
It was an illusion. Doinks, he's famous for tricks. Caesar's is famous for great magicians. This was nothing.
Look, they're looking under there, and there's nobody here. Look, he's gone. I see Lex Luger's mirrors. See him? They're right there.
One Doink leave and one enter. It's an illusion. He's got to be under the ring.
Exactly right. There were two
They're
of
making
them.
facial expressions like he's not there.
Ray Apollo. Thank you, Wade.
The referee.
I was thinking of the guys that the Hardys used to get in with,
They looked underneath and apparently didn't see
the Italian Stallion. I'm like, no, it's not him.
Pop couldn't get what he wanted. Let's go to our colleague.
And I had somebody else in mind. Yeah, Ray Apollo.
We are live. We're up here in the Bob Uecker
Look at Todd. Look how young Todd is.
It is absolutely crazy up here. We're trying to take a poll.
Todd, you need to get some sun.
Doinks was an illusion. Ladies and gentlemen, this event is being covered all over the world. We're here with the photographers from Japan. Sir,
1993. I miss.
opinion or was it an illusion? Doink. No, sir. You have to. We're there two Doinks. We're there two Doinks.
Todd.
All right. How
What?
your stay here in the U.S.?
Las Vegas number one.
Hey, Yokozuna. Two Doinks or an illusion? We'll leave it up
Two doinks are an illusion.
to your seats, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at this guy trying to get through.
Way in the back.
Interview the girl in the pink there.
It is an unbelievable display.
Or the orange.
Drinks with
Not the pink.
I think drinks with soda, but I'm
Is that Peyton Manning behind Todd? That guy in the pink?
preparing to bring you updates all day. Right now, as the music sounds, let's go back to the
And here comes the bad guy.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there were two Doinks. And the
That was a very interesting segment with Todd in the crowd. I think they just said, hey, go up there and just go with it. Razor.
We'll find out more on this situation as the
I always forget about this match. on this card. It's Razor and Backlund, right? Now, there's a wide shot. Yeah, I guess they did build this in the parking lot, didn't they? Last night, I was saying that the actor that played Putty on Seinfeld, I think would make a good Razor Ramon or a good Scott Hall to play him in a movie. He had the same voice. Yeah, that's right. And if that guy, if that actor, whatever his name is, had to do like the, hey, yo, I think he could do it perfectly. Plus, he's big. He's got like a hairy chest. He'd make a perfect Scott Hall. David Putty. Yeah, that's right. There's Backlund doing his knee things. He's loved doing that. Like, it didn't look weird when he was champion, and he did that. But for some reason, like, all these years later when he came back and he was doing that weird walk. Beaver Cleaver. Backlund's like, you threw your toothpick at me, young man. You know, this would be a heck of a shoot, to be honest. Backlund's first WrestleMania, which is wild. He basically left right before WrestleMania started and came back right here. I don't think he worked WrestleMania 10. Yeah, he was in the stands, so he worked 11 against Brett. So I think he had 2 WrestleMania matches in total. And, well, I guess he was probably in one of them gimmick battle royals and shit. He probably did something else crazy, too. So there might be another extra match stuck in there somewhere. Oh, his little Goldberg booties. Yeah, he does. Angle kind of wore the shorter ones, too, for a little while, I think. Didn't he? The Paperboy Mayberry. DJG, you're 6 years younger than Backlund. I think I'm 4 years older. Referee Danny Davis, who haunts my childhood. Boy, that year that he was an evil referee, screwing over the Bulldogs like that. Oh, my God. Yeah, they had the narcissist attack Brett at the brunch. And I remember what that was telling me was that Brett was definitely going to lose the title, and that's who he's going to feud with after he loses the title. And I was so bummed. I knew he was going to lose. I did not think he was going to survive Yoko. I didn't see the Hogan thing coming, though. Oh, thanks for that, Craig. Yeah, I knew what he was doing was amateur wrestling related because I've seen a lot of guys do that. But it didn't look weird at all when he was champion. And he was a little bigger back then, too. He just looked a little more menacing. He looked like a goofball now by the time 93 came around. So it just looked funny. But thanks for the definition of that and the $5. It's called a penetration step or a shot in wrestling because you shoot in for a double or single leg. And Backlund, like, in the 70s, he didn't have to super change up his style a lot. He wrestled his way. And he won with an inside cradle, pinning Bob Backlund with a wrestling move. That's crazy. That's crazy. And Razor wins. But now in 93, Backlund, it's not his court anymore. So he's going to have to play others' games. And plus the way wrestling was changing by this point. I mean, you had guys 8 feet fucking tall in there that's in a matchup here shortly. So you didn't have a whole lot of Shawn Michaels, in the 70s.
With me at this time, the current reigning World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions here at Caesars Palace, Money Incorporated, IRS, and of course, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
I didn't like that they changed up the belts slightly.
I've gotta believe that your tag team titles are
They have darkened the colors in the middle where the world and the globe is.
1, the return of the immortal Hulk Hogan. 2, teaming up with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, managed by your former manager, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Gentlemen, I've got to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy Hart had just turned face. I had forgotten about that. That was funny.
Resulted from your actions on a recent edition of Monday Night Raw. Let's go back and take a look how this all unfolded.
I remember watching this. It is crazy that Brutus was able to wrestle after having all of that damage to his face done.
See, and Urban R. Shyster, I saw that. I couldn't believe it. Another man watching at home was the immortal Hulk Hogan, and quite candidly, he couldn't believe it either.
Yak, 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 Oakland. We've been
I remember thinking this was weird.
It's time to
I was having trouble wrapping my head around Hulk Hogan
WrestleMania 9.
being a tag team champion.
And this is Caesar's Palace, where the stakes are always high. And that's the way Money Incorporated likes it.
And so I wasn't surprised when they did the finish they did.
When you win, and we don't make bets that we can't win. They say they're going to bankrupt Money Incorporated. Well, how do you bankrupt a company who has an unlimited credit line? And that's what we've got. This is our city, the city of money. You're going to come into our city. This is our backyard. What are the odds, Oakland, of beating a dog in his own backyard?
I don't know about that. I'm not a betting man. Urban R. Shyster.
You know something, mega morons? You've got all the answers. That's right. Beefcake, you've got the protective mask that's going to save you in this match.
Oh, yeah, he's got the
I'm
mask.
gonna tell you what Money Inc.'s going to do to it. We're going to take the mask off and beat your face into oblivion. By the time we're through,
Why are you wearing a tie?
jigsaw puzzle with a few of the pieces missing. And speaking of jigsaw puzzles, we heard
Why are you wearing a bow tie? You guys are weird.
accident coming out of the gym last night. That's what money can do. And you know something, Okerlund? You think Beefcake's face looks bad? Wait until you get a load of Hogan's.
So they're trying to play it off like the Money Inc. paid somebody to attack Hogan. We still don't know what happened. Is there an updated story on what happened to Hogan's eye? Everything from him and Randy Savage got into a fight, from a jet ski accident, to a dumbbell falling on his face in the gym, like a dildo hit him in the face. Like, we've heard everything. I don't even know what the real story is. Ah, there's Vlad again. Who's the blonde? And here they come. That's pretty inconvenient timing, though, for Hogan, especially on a night that he's going to like win the title. I was just thought the macho thing was an urban legend. I wasn't convinced Savage actually did it. Somebody would have to know. And Savage would be punished. Vince would be pissed if Savage hit Hogan. Because you're fucking with his show. I don't believe it was Savage unless I'm it's been corroborated a bunch of times. I just thought that that's one of the theories, and it's a fun theory, and it would be awesome if it was true, but I need a little more clarification before I believe it. Listen to Savage, had to be a cheap shot. It wasn't Savage, come on. Had to be a cheap shot. Like, when the camera is back to Savage and Bobby and JR, let's look at his hands. Are his knuckles fine? Yeah, hitting on Liz. Yeah, they were long since divorced by this point. And there he is. And Hogan is back at WrestleMania. Here we thought he was going to miss the first WrestleMania ever. And here he is. And then I'm like, oh, wow, he's just in a mid-card tag match. Little did I know he would rear his head. His busted-ass head. I mean, Hogan's theme did slap. Kids still say that. Slap. Does it slap? Yeah, it does. And wristband Hogan. I always thought wristband Hogan was... There's two Hogans. There's light eyebrow Hogan. And then there's dark eyebrow wristband Hogan. And they look like two completely different guys. Dark eyebrow wristband Hogan is taller and leaner. Light eyebrow Hogan is jacked. But they're the same height, but he appears taller than he did in the 80s because he's slim. Definitely a cheap shot. No, I don't think Hogan would have gotten into a bar fight either. Hogan wouldn't be at a bar by himself. Hogan's more of like an airport lounge drinker than let's go find some bar to drink in, you know. Hogan's the, the first class lounge, in airports. I'm not sure if Hogan's just driving around random towns looking for a dive bar to go into and start picking fights. Even if somebody started shit with him, he's probably got Haku with him or something. All right, we got, this might be, I was going to say that's Earl, but I want to make sure it's not Dave. I think that's Earl. Dave Hebner definitely was not reffing by this point. It just didn't look like Earl for a second. Dave's heavier. Alan Carl, yellow trunks or red tights for Hogan? Well, for me, yellow trunks, because when I was a kid, I didn't really dislike Hogan, and he was wearing that. But by the time Hogan was wrestling in the long stuff, I was long checked out on liking him. So probably yellow tights, even though it looks a little ridiculous. He looked good in the long stuff, though, even in the NWO, and then the stuff he would use, in the WWE as a babyface. I liked it. I mean, it was cool to me, too, as a fan, to kind of see DiBiase and Hogan back at it again. You know, their feuds go back to 6 years prior in '87 when DiBiase tried to buy the title, and then he enlisted the services of Andre to screw Hogan over in the double referee thing, which one of them referees is in the ring right now. Earl looks like he's squinting to see, so that sucks. You can't wear sunglasses.
What do you think? They're the tag team champions, but I'll tell you something, they're not the head shrinkers. But when they butt heads, they feel it big time.
Wow. Hogan in the ring. First match since the previous year's WrestleMania. That's just crazy. DiBiase and Beefcake wrestled at WrestleMania 5. Hulk Hogan's music was initially intended for Mike Rotundo. Everybody's intertwined in this. It's kind of cool. Everybody in this match has history with everybody else, or is linked to that person in some way. Oh, as a matter of fact, I think the Dream Team would have beat them. So then I think Beefcake beat Rotundo for the tag titles. Yeah, because it went from Wyndham and Rotundo to Sheik and Volkov back to Wyndham and Rotundo, and then I think the Dream Team took them. I think. Yeah. DiBiase, I think so. I'm not sure if DiBiase had an MSG match prior to 79, but he does have a match that exists in 79 against Hogan, yeah. And both guys would leave and come back.
I don't even think they're even taking odds on this one.
Behind you, Teddy. Hogan right hand. DiBiase in trouble again. Nailed by Beefcake.
Beefcake at WrestleMania 4 cut his own manager's hair. Intertwined. Oh. Hogan, always over. Oh, they're leaving. Couple of bitches.
The only thing that I wish is they get back in there, get pinned, then leave.
Thanks, DJG. Yeah. Started putting that together. I'm like, I love thinking about the history of everybody, and all these guys are connected. And IRS and DiBiase would both be in the NWO with Hogan.
They've been counted out, I believe.
Well, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. I have just been informed by the referee that if Money in
Oh, they're going to strip him.
does not come back and re-enter the ring by the count of 10, not only will they lose the match, they will also lose their tag team.
I love that the referee can make this call. Bobby is kind of right, but it's also a stupid rule. Why didn't Joey Morella have this energy in the first match and just let Tatanka beat Shawn?
Coward's way out does not work at WrestleMania 9. Live from Las Vegas. How can they do this?
Yeah, imagine if like Jim Ross was allowed to break all that history down that I just did between these guys. And then at WrestleMania 4, that'd be great. Many fans don't know that Hogan's song was originally meant for Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham. And here Jim Ross just spit all that out. It'd be hilarious.
somebody. He could have had an accident. He could have dropped a plate on his face or shower door whack him in the chops.
Those are three things that didn't happen.
DiBiase thumb right to the throat.
You seem to have it all down there, Adam 12.
Outthinking you is no big
It's an
deal.
unflattering angle on Hogan there.
I don't know how badly he's injured. Obviously, it looks horrible. But that is the kind of man he is, the kind of athlete he is. Absolutely no quitting. Hey, wait a minute. Trying to choke the life out of Hogan. He's got a rope, a tag rope. He took the tag rope
Let
and
me tell you something.
choked him with it.
Hogan is a big time
Choking him with the tag rope.
competitor. Look what he's going against all odds.
The referee's got to restrain Beefcake, but in the meantime, DiBiase taking more liberties at the injured Hulk Hogan, trying to, again, robbing him his oxygen, keeping the pressure on.
How come they've never done? How come they've never done something where a wrestler like puts something in his ass, and then pulls it out and rubs it in the face of his opponent? That'd make me submit in an I Quit match. I lose. I will be screaming I quit and then running for a shower while crying
I don't care how big and how strong you are, you got no air, no oxygen, you're going to be in big time trouble. And that's exactly where Hulk Hogan has found
and throwing up.
himself here, thanks to the illegal means of Money Incorporated.
Try to choke him out.
This isn't minor leagues.
This isn't minor leagues. Hogan wearing the Cena wristbands was just weird.
Times don't last. Tough people do. And if any
Ooh, tough times don't last. Tough people do. The $1 Million Dream
He's got the $1 Million Dream.
on Hogan in 1993.
Hogan, would you like to leave a wake-up call? You're going out.
DiBiase's famous for right here, this 1-0.
What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? You're going to sleep, dummy.
Hogan continue to compete here. He's fighting with all he's got now. After being choked with a tag rope, after being draped over the top rope. Goodness knows what happened to him last night.
Cobra Clutch is essentially the same move, right?
Look at Hogan's face. He's been through the mill, no doubt.
I bet he's got about 20 stitches in that eye. It's like the eye swollen shut. Look at that. Cutting off the oxygen. Brain, he's just about to go out. Hogan looks great shape.
See, I think I'd rather take a stink face because I think you've got a chance. You stand a chance to like avoid or just get all skin. Where if you just pull like something like straight out and then a little smelling salt, oh my God, I'd probably need therapy after. I don't do well with the number 2.
Over 16,000 on hand here. And you can hear the chant.
Standing room only. Dig it. Hanging from the rafters. If there were rafters.
Oh, Savage. Hanging from the rafters. Pause. If there were rafters. Oh, that's great.
The tag team champs are looking good right now. I gotta admit it, Ian.
I miss these times. Hogan saying no.
I've seen that before.
I mean, Savage is putting him over on commentary. Are we really sure he punched him here?
The compete that Hulk Hogan possesses. Both men back up to Virgil Mays, the 4-time champion.
Just like Paul Bear and the Undertaker.
Taz mission is slightly different, I think. Taz mission you can lock on quickly. You gotta position yourself for a $1 Million Dream.
The referee's got to get IRS out of there, but when he does, it may be too late. DiBiase is fading.
Fading with the sleeper. There you go. He had time to put him in a sleeper behind the referee's back. Earl falls. Get up, Earl.
About to exercise his count. 2. Both these men are down.
3. A critical point of this title.
Critical.
DiBiase's $1 Million Dream. Divisalis Beefcake's sleeper.
If there's a count out, the titles don't change hands. Something like if they would have left. 8. Uh-oh, that's it.
Get up.
Uh-oh.
Hogan sits up like Undertaker. Hey.
He was listening to the count. He was not playing possum, but he sat up like the Undertaker.
Yeah.
He dropped his strength from the fence.
I hope he asked Undertaker if he could do that.
Thing right there. He's trying to show Hogan where Beefcake is. He's got to make that tag.
Jimmy Hart led the traffic here. DiBiase takes it out of the wrist. And Beefcake gets the tag from the Hulkster. Beefcake on the wrist. Rights and lefts.
Beefer with the hot tag. High knee. I am a sucker for a high knee. I love a good high knee.
This is a roundhouse. Finley's overcomes DiBiase for the atomic drop. IRS in trouble. Another right hand by Beefcake. The champions are in big time jeopardy here.
They got to stop the momentum. They got to stop the Mega Maniacs' momentum.
Oof.
DiBiase with that collar burden nailed Beefcake right in the lower back, right in the kidneys.
And then Icky Breaky back, don't he?
What a cheap shot by DiBiase.
Well, it's not the first cheap shot from Money Inc., but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it wrong either.
We Are Pro Wrestling. There's a video that surfaced years ago after the show went off the air showing Hogan and Savage celebrating together. Yeah, I've never really believed the Savage punched him. I just think it's an awesome story that we want to believe, but wanting to believe isn't enough. I've always doubted it. I'm like, I know Savage and Hogan had their problems and hated each other, and there was a time that Savage probably wanted to legitimately tear the fucking guy's head off, but I just don't think the night before WrestleMania he would have punched him out. Vince would have been so pissed. He would have been so pissed.
He's trying to take that face mask off.
Once that comes off, we're having a hockey game. We're going to have a face-off right here.
The Face Off. Now, about 3 more years, the movie Face Off will be coming out,
A lot of money at stake.
which is very realistic, by the way.
Fighting feverishly to remove that titanium
Go grab another 805. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
covering.
Tear it off, Ted. Tear it off, DiBiase.
Don't forget the Beefcake got hit with that.
Aluminum Halliburton.
They called it a beef case because of when they hit him from before.
A beef case? I like that.
Yeah, well, they
I like how they have some shade for this match. That mask is off. Beefer is exposed. Pray for Beefer.
Regular discretion here. Beefcake is in big time trouble. Right IRS, look at the smile on his face. He is so happy with what has transpired.
Beefcake with the dukes up.
Sounds like a trip to the hardware store. I can hear the screws moving. I can hear the metal plates going.
I've always said that Beefcake's has more guts than brains.
I can't remember. I think Hogan did claim what it was, but Hogan's full of shit, everything he says. So I thought he said something with jet ski, but they're in the middle of Vegas here, so I don't know where the hell they were jet skiing at. But maybe it was a couple days before. It wasn't the night before. But I don't think Hogan's story would necessarily be true either. But I feel like if it wasn't anything too sketchy, we would have heard.
He's choking him. No, it's the sleeper. It's a choke.
Beefcake's got the sleeper on IRS.
I wish you'd just get out of the ring.
I can see where it is right there in the Adam's apple. He's choking him.
Beef or IRS might not be the legal man. Oh, ref bump. Referee down. Randy Savage.
Three people down.
Referee down, IRS as is.
And Beefcake is holding his face.
It's Hulkster and DiBiase looking eye to eye now.
His ears are now where his lips used to be, it looks like to me.
It's anybody's matchup right now.
His nose is under his arm.
I think Hogan was dildo shopping and he wanted the biggest, blackest one on the top shelf and he reached for it and it fell and hit him in the face. That's the story I want to tell myself.
But the referee didn't see the tag.
Who cares? Beefcake's out of there. We need him out of there.
Hogan is back.
Live right hands. Hogan now becoming dominant with DiBiase. Irish whip.
Boom. Big boot. Ted sells everything amazing. Oh, let's use Beefcake's mask.
That was bargain basement.
Nice. There you go. I'll count. 1, 2, 3. The new champions. The mega. What were they called? The mega barbers. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that counts. That doesn't count. Well, he turned his jacket inside out. It counts. I like Bobby. Who knows? It might count. They're the champs. Hogan celebrating with the... Look, he fell off the ropes. What a dummy. He can't even stand on the ropes. What an idiot. Oh, here comes Danny Davis to fuck it up. Danny Davis, who used to be a cohort of Jimmy Hart. Danny Davis screws another tag team.
As a result of a disqualification. And still,
Beefcake. Hogan loses. That is only Hogan's second loss at WrestleMania. I mean, he was double DQ'd with Andre at 4, and he lost to Warrior. And this goes down for as an L for Hogan. Beat up Danny Davis. That's a good decision. Oh my God. See how I talked about everybody has history? Jimmy Hart and Danny Davis have history. That is crazy. And he has history with tag team title matches, specifically the Hearts and Bulldogs. I mean, for as bad as they describe Beefcake's injuries, I cannot believe his face looks normal. Like, he doesn't have crazy scars and his face isn't all misshaped. Double strut. No, what was great about that match? Everybody was alive. Even the referees. Yeah, get your posing in. Oh, we like moved the camera. He's still doing the posing even though he's tall and lean. This belt doesn't feel right. Something's wrong. See, look at Savage's hands. His fingers look fine. They're not gnarled. Look, you just got a good look at both of his knuckles. If he hit Hogan, unless he had a brick in his hand, he wouldn't be able to just be clapping his hands. He'd probably be favoring one hand just a little bit. If you smack somebody is hard enough to cause that much damage, your hands aren't going to come away scot-free.
Absolutely nothing could have stopped Hulk Hogan's return. Fans, our colleague Todd Pettengill is standing by in the audience.
Oh, they've got the briefcase. God, Hogan's eye is gnarly looking. It's gotta hurt like a bitch, I would imagine. Jeez. Do they know the combination? These three morons trying to open something? Ooh, money. Papers. A brick. Favorite Bobby quote of all time. Well, you never know when you're going to need a brick. Because you don't know. You'll never know when you'll need one, but one day you'll need one. And so if you have one with you, it'll be good. Then you'll have one. So this is some consolation. They just stole all their cash. Why would they be carrying a briefcase of cash around anyway? Like, if you're super loaded, you're not going to carry a briefcase of money around. He's giving the money away. Yeah, people are going to be totally not going crazy for that. Yeah, Hogan is a thief. He wouldn't be done thieving either. His thievery is not done. Natalie Cole. It was real money. I love people are like, can't believe, like, it's real money. Well, it would be stupid if it was fake money. Look at this fucker. Imagine the prostitutes that dude's probably had in his life. What's going on with your eyebrow there? What's up with that?
This is the highest energy level we've ever had. Unbelievable. And I must tell you, the last couple of days, the energy level in town, simply fabulous. The World Wrestling Federation staff did a great job working with us, promoting this event. And the wrestlers
He's putting him over. Good for him. I take it all back.
ingratiated themselves to the community and all the fans we have here today. There's more than 50
Except the hooker part.
fans here that see this worldwide pay-per-view event. It's great.
Dan, can I get a deal on my room? What do you think? Maybe a little break?
Well, I think we can work this out. Maybe we need to go in there. And I'll tell you the other thing we're happy over. Not only is this worldwide, we see it in our other seasons destination in Tahoe, in Atlantic City, in the Poconos. It's great.
Hey, let me hug you, big guy. Make a deal on the room. All right.
No, at least this guy like was there to play the game, and he put over the working with WWE. Okay, he was fine. I got nothing against him.
You know, Todd, you're not going to believe this. This was the very same guy that was with me last night at the crap tables here, but that's another story. Athleticism. Here is the man that personifies athleticism.
You got to do my promo with this fucking tree behind me.
Perfectly. Mr. Perfect. But what about the reputation that your opponent has garnered as of late? The narcissist Lex Luger with that devastating forearm. Very controversial, I might add. As a matter of fact, he has been knocking out opponents right and left. Most recently at a brunch.
At the
that I
brunch.
attended today.
The damn brunch.
They knocked out Bret the Hitman Hart. That's got to be a concern to you.
You know, he considers himself a knockout artist. That's what he calls himself. Lex Luger, the narcissist. You come out and tell everybody that you're beyond perfection. You give Bret Hart a cheap shot today at a breakfast benefit. What's wrong with you, pal? You gotta carry a mirror around with you to show yourself that you are the great person that you really think you are. This is WrestleMania, Mean Gene. I'm on a roll this week. I got a hole-in-one playing golf. I've been hot at the tables. Mr. Perfect is exactly what he says he is. Perfect. And tonight, the narcissist,
The Larksicist. Met the Larksicist, Luger's. Sounds like me sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, the Larksicist, Luke's Lugerns. Oh, Hennig. The Lexusist. Narcs Lugers. Las Vegas finest. For 93, these are hot babes. They're all grandmas now.
You realize the first Olympics was held in 726 or 76, something like that, BC. And it was held in honor of Apollo, the Greek god. You realize, had Luger been alive in those days, they'd have had the whole event for him. It was 1926.
Look at the size of Perfect's neck. Well, look at the size of his dad's. I'll tell you all you need to know there. It's a family trait.
Oh, yes.
Have you met the Macho Man?
Yes.
No, I'm not talking about the narcissist scene, and now you're making me mad.
Elizabeth asked me what show we were watching tonight. I told her, and she kind of remembers this one. She goes, "Is that the one with Lex Luger in the mirrors?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." She knows her shit.
Weekend is hitting the saddle sword. Look at these dolls. You know, the one on the end kept giving me the
I'm putting you over, babe.
going through the casino. But look at Luger. He outshines them all.
He's awesome. There's no doubt about that.
Just wait till Mr. Perfect walks down that aisle and listen up. Natalie Cole will be at her feet like everybody here.
Pick up the stupid mirrors.
6'5", 275, and obviously
So obviously they didn't know he was going to be the born again Hogan, when he was doing this, when he knocked out Brett at the brunch, you know, because in literally 3 months here he's going to be a babyface. Vince is going to lose Hogan, so he's like, he's got muscles. Let's just do that.
very impressive.
Genius, my ass.
Mirrors, doesn't he?
That wind.
Well, maybe he's got a good point. He looks awesome.
Yes, he does.
His attitude leaves a little to be desired, in my opinion.
But I haven't looked at him one time yet.
It was so weird when he debuted at the Rumble and Bobby Heenan is like narrating the whole thing, like, "Oh yeah, show us more, show us more, baby, give us some more leg." I'm like, what is going on? Is Bobby okay? I'm like, Bobby's a happily married man. So if he's going to suddenly switch teams, you know, I support him, but his wife's going to be quite upset and shocked. Oh, hey, I look at Perfect's like, "Get off me, trailer park hoe." She definitely isn't.
Again, as we mentioned earlier, this morning at the WrestleMania brunch,
Yeah, and after all this, Luger being such a heel piece of shit here, the following year, Luger would be the Mr. America guy, and then Perfect would screw him over at WrestleMania 10. I really liked how they did those referees at WrestleMania 10. A lot of people were disappointed in the two, but I wasn't. I liked Perfect and Piper because they both had history with the people in the matches, and I thought it worked.
I don't know if I've ever seen a more gifted all-around athlete than that young man there.
You're right. Lex Luger is something else.
Talking about what's to monitor.
Wrong, camel breath.
Wrong, camel breath.
Glory right now, and this is a matchup that I've been waiting to see. And it doesn't get any better. But everything's been outdoing everything right here at WrestleMania 9, Roman Coliseum. I can't wait. What Mr. Perfect just spit his gum on the narcissist. I think that's what he thinks of the narcissist. Dig it.
What is that Dick Mill?
It's you.
Bobby wasn't running around chasing Teo DiBiase after shows. He might have been.
Bow and elbow tie-up. Luger with the advantage. Wrist lock. And quickly countered by Mr. Perfect.
One of my friend's dads, had like a really rich Southern accent. And so like sometimes I'll like be over there to like pick her up and he'd go, or pick him up and he'd go, "Where y'all going, chasing whores?" And he'd always say chasing whores. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we're doing. I mean, it kind of was, but it just, we have a nicer way of putting it. You're chasing whores. Every time I went to go get him, y'all chasing whores? Maybe.
Time limit-wise, magnificent condition. No excess poundage on either of these men.
But Perfect's not perfect.
It's gotta be on Mr.
Very smart, very intelligent.
You know, let me bring a very important point here.
It'll be your first one of the night, please.
Every opponent of the narcissist has been knocked out. Every man he's been in the ring with has been knocked out.
Smack. Smack to the belly, to the abs.
Side headlock, you're right.
Great point, Heenan. Like we didn't know that.
Well, maybe you do, but I have to reassure the humanoids out there.
God, Perfect's fast. Love that. Love that sequence he always does with the kind of like the running leapfrog where he just kind of floats over him, hits the ropes, comes back with an awesome dropkick. He's been doing that shit since AWA.
Well, you know, you got to really take a hard look at Luger's track record. As Bobby pointed out, a perfect record, all knockouts. All knockouts.
Pretty
It's
suspicious.
beyond
Yeah.
perfect.
It's happened too many times to be a coincidence, I might add.
Right, it is a little suspicious.
It's bat speed. You know something about baseball, Savage?
Yes, I do.
It's not the biggest bat you swing.
Don't
You hit the ball the
butter me
farthest with bat
Don't
speed, right?
butter me up right now.
Don't butter me up. You know something about baseball, Savage. Yes, I do.
You sound like you're...
I'm saying he throws that arm so fast and so hard with such velocity.
You want to take a polygraph after the hitman got knocked out?
No, I don't have false teeth. I don't need polygraph.
Heavy impact there by the narcissist Lex Luger. Big right hand.
You want to take a polygraph? No, I don't need false teeth.
Face first to the top.
Oh, my God.
Perfect will wrestle you. He'll fault you. He'll do whatever he asks you to win. He's that kind of a competitor, but he isn't in the same class.
Oh, he smacked. Back heel trips.
Kind of wish Gorilla was on the call for this, too, but I guess he was the host. I didn't realize that
Drives his knee
earlier.
right into the side of Luger.
When they announced him as the host, I'm like, well, he's announcing, but he wasn't announcing. It's Jim Ross.
It is the best ever. The competition
Gorilla got bumped for Jim Ross, guys.
than ever before, and that's saying something.
Jim Ross doesn't get any heat for this. He complained about the toga, but we should be complaining about him.
Inches over Mr. Perfect. And
Taking Jim Ross, or taking Gorilla and Bobby away from us.
wrestling. Inserting Luger's agility here.
Might have a submission right here.
Indeed, you're right. Spinning leg lock.
Hold.
He's trying to tear that knee out is what he's trying to do.
Why not?
See, the secret is
Oh, he takes it another turn.
he keeps Luger on his back, he won't get knocked out. He'll get knocked out any place. When the time's right, Luger will take him out.
How come you're so sure of that?
Because I just know the man. I've known him for a
How do
long
you
time.
know that? How can you call a knockout?
Because he told me.
Muhammad Ali couldn't do it. He tried. It
Yeah,
happened
you
once in
need-
a while, but he didn't do it every time.
Whoa, macho madness. You don't really think you could compare Muhammad Ali to a narcissist?
You can't compare Muhammad Ali to narcissist. Of course you can't. Oh my God, Bobby.
Chop City.
Indeed. Top City. Chop shop. Is open.
Monsoon had pneumonia. He was at the beginning of the show here in a toga and everything, welcoming us to the show, so he seems fine.
Luger holds on.
I just think that they brought JR in, so this is where they chose to debut him. They would switch up the commentary teams all the time, so I don't think he really got bumped. I just think if JR didn't come in, it would probably be Gorilla sitting in that chair.
I'll tell you what, that's the same lower back that he hurt that kept him out of wrestling for a while.
Now that is velocity. I have never seen anyone hit the turnbuckle.
Am I right?
You're right.
But when I say I told you
Who
so,
are you
I
talking to?
might as well talk to myself. You two typical won't listen to me.
Well, why should we?
Why shouldn't you?
You're from Oklahoma. You don't know anything. You should listen to me, then you learn something.
I'm listening to the Macho Man.
Thank goodness for next year, huh, Ross?
Yeah, you know you
Indoor
talk to,
plumbing
right?
comes to Oklahoma.
Indoor plumbing comes to Oklahoma in 1993.
Oh, not in the lower back.
He waist locks him and takes him right to that lower back.
Here we go.
To the edge of the ring.
Still working on that lower back.
That has been Luger's focus in the past several moments here at WrestleMania 9.
The narcissist first WrestleMania, just like you, Jim Ross, and he's psyched to the max, no doubt about it. He's staying on that lower back. Smart.
Well, there have been so many firsts thus far here at this magnificent event. And again,
A lot of first in one night, but that's WrestleMania.
what for? That's a dangerous arm. Luger's is just, I mean, hammering him right into the lower back, that kidney area. Using the ropes for some additional momentum. Scoops him up. Look how strong. Luger
Big backbreaker.
that backbreaker.
Not a good sign.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of enjoy it.
There's a couple.
Another lateral
This might
press.
be it.
And
I feel like these matches would be better if it was an indoor show. It just feels weird outside with all this wind and shit. Like, none of these matches are good. This entire show. Has a weird vibe to it in the ring.
Well, Luger keeps coming.
Right hand. Luger reeling there somewhat. Perfect caught him again with another right hand. And he's got no quit in his body. Irish whip far side.
Oh, very good move. Foot on the rope.
Feet are on the ropes here.
Nope.
And good officiating.
Good call, finally.
Yeah, good call. Good officiating there.
Yeah, finally, Joey Morella.
Oh, that's great. That's nice. Well, that's
Shh.
but everybody can tell that.
It took him all the way around, up and over there with that power slam.
Narcissus is pretty cocky right now. He should have covered him quicker.
And that, well, good point, Randy Savage.
Yeah, that was your own fault, Lex.
Come on, Perfect.
Real gut check for Mr. Perfect.
Come on, brother. You know, I get that impression that
As we are live here at Caesar's Palace of Rock.
Now the other side of the arena is, of the crowd is in the sun.
a sleeper. I didn't know he knew that hole. Oh, Lord,
I taught him that hole. I taught him that hole when I used to manage Perfect.
greatest claim to fame you've ever had.
Yeah, AJ, I like the outdoor look. Like, I like it when they change things up and stuff, but I just think, like, the quality of the matches suffers when you're dealing with wind and stuff.
He told me, don't worry. I know how to get out of it if you put the
Right hands.
right hand. You can hear that?
Plus, the noise is different. It's much louder indoors than it is outdoors.
I'm not convinced that Perfect's okay yet.
Luger almost on Dream Street here. Down he goes. Perfect fighting back. And Luger trying to regain that offensive advantage he had earlier. And there's, I gotta think there's a great deal of fight in Mr. Perfect. Inside.
Oh, nice.
Inside cradle. He's got the leg. And through the neck.
That's how Razor won earlier.
Good wrestling move by Perfect. Taking the big man off his feet. This time.
Backdrop.
Come on, let's go. Tell you what, Perfect, this change.
Macho is being punished for his involvement with Steph. No.
Back in the corner. Luger again. No
He would have far worse consequences. That Stephanie rumor is as fun as it would be for it to be true. And some people do believe. Actually, back in those days, I could see Vince rolling over a little bit more, so maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if I can trust the Savage and Stephanie rule. Or rumor. If Savage was capable of getting women like Elizabeth, I don't know why he would be messing around with 16-year-old Stephanie.
Showed you the fight that's left in the Narcissus Lex Luger. We got two top superstars in the World Wrestling Federation. Nobody has ever disputed that.
There's a lot of fight left in both these supreme athletes, you gotta think. And Perfect up on that second rope. And again, his right hands are finding their mark, but look at again the power of Luger. Look at the corner. The Perfect takes him down with a clothesline. Again, that big time forearm reaches back, hooks the leg.
Maybe on Vince's deathbed, he'll admit it was all true. Blow our minds. And then Ryan will be like, I knew it.
Perfect. Lateral press. And they got the right shoulder. They got the right shoulder.
God, I feel bad for the crowd on that right side. They're all going like this.
Come on, Lex.
Sun is blinding them. They didn't think about this?
Quick.
Like, if you don't have sunglasses, you just got to be miserable.
Off the top rope.
He's got it.
The crowd on the other side can see everything.
The referee saw it.
I don't care. I will make sure everybody knows it. Millions of people are watching this. I want everyone to know it.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, fighting for the backslide right now.
Yes, they are.
Drop to your knees, Lex. Drop to your knees. Drop to your knees. Perfect. Oh, Luger's got the middle rope hook with his foot.
Oh, reversed.
That one even.
Luger's got the arms up.
Backslide. Oh, yeah, he's in the ropes. Oh, dumbass. Well, Perfect would get his revenge. It would just take a year. And then boom. Like when you see all of this, I can kind of understand Perfect doing what he did at WrestleMania 10. Maybe showing up there like not believing this Mr. USA persona and saying, no, you're an asshole. Look at what you did to me last year. Comes back to get his revenge. Perfect was right.
Perfect is out cold. Cold as a mackerel.
Cole is the hitman. Now tell me why everybody that the narcissist is knocked out. Oh, this is too much.
Everybody stepped in the ring with, and some outside the ring have been knocked unconscious.
Well, they did that whole entire Vince McMahon documentary. I don't know why they didn't ask it there and just put it to rest. Vince is sitting right there. What happened with Randy Savage? And did he hook up with Stephanie? And then if people are like, well, I've never even heard that. What the fuck? They should have asked him. The Netflix people should have asked him.
It was a controversial victory for Luger and Perfect. Yes, Bob, that's all the point.
That will take balls. If somebody ever asked that question at one of them WWE media pressers after a pay-per-view to Triple H, will you put an internet rumor to rest? Did your wife and Randy Savage have sexual relations when she was a minor?
He goes back there and looks for Luger and finds him. He's going to be out cold again.
I just like to not think about the past. I just like to tell you about the future. So Perfect is storming to the back now after being knocked out by Luger. Look at, we're outside again. He's talking to Shawn.
There's Luger with Shawn Michaels, and the fight is beginning. Everybody grunts.
I like how Luger's just randomly chatting with Shawn. And now Shawn's getting involved. Like, here we go. Here's our next Intercontinental Championship feud. And Luger kind of powders out, and then it's going to be Shawn and Perfect. And they immediately jumped from Perfect to Luger to Perfect to Shawn.
Something, Mr. Perfect. Oh, man, I'll tell you something. What do you
Look at Heenan's all happy.
what a volatile situation.
Perfect went out there and jumped him from behind. Nobody's had a worse day than that. Just
Look at Macho pointing at Bobby. Look at Vlad. He's over here now? I thought he was on the other side. He's everywhere.
knocking out everybody.
Hey, come on, guys. Let's get him away from me. We've got to. We have got to move over here.
Watch it.
Come on. Let's. Our host, Gorilla Monsoon, is standing by. Gorilla, take it away, please.
Take it away. There's Gorilla.
Well, plenty of exciting and unexpected things happening here at this WrestleMania 9. And you can be sure there'll be plenty more still to come because waiting, the Grim Reaper,
Oh, yeah.
Taker, the man who many think cannot be beaten, will have to face a man that many think can put The Undertaker away. The almost 8
The giant Gonzalez. Oh, my God.
What a matchup that's going to be. And then the big one, reigning WWF champion, Bret the Hitman Hart, now the quintessential underdog, will face the odds-on favorite, 500 pounds plus, Yokozuna. What a confrontation that's going to be. So with that, let's take you to Vicus Maximus.
Thanks, Gorilla. I don't know what the point of that was. I guess they're just giving Gorilla a job at this Mania.
Why are you trying to provoke Randy?
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be Giant Gonzalez. Oh, this is so bad. Let's just create monsters for Undertaker to slay. I mean, the size of him is pretty wild.
Towering above the crowd.
Taller than the Roman Colosseum. You realize if he laid down here right now,
The bodysuit was just so odd because he didn't wear that in WCW.
he is gigantic.
Almost 8 feet tall, 460 pounds.
Mr. Perfect and the Hitman knocked out in the same day.
Huge.
Too much of a coincidence. Baseball starts tomorrow. It's a doubleheader. President Jack Tunney is watching.
Fans
Guaranteed.
looking on in awe.
Too much.
This looking easily over the top rope.
Look at that.
There was a college in North Carolina, I think it was University of Asheville or something like that, where they had one of these 8 foot tall players, or like super high 7 foot tall players, like crazy freak of nature. I think it was University of Asheville, and their coach came in for dinner, and he had one of the guy's shoes, and we took it in the back, and like people were taking pictures of it, and it was just fucking a canoe. We had a really, really short little waitress, and we had her hold it. It was like half, if she turned it up vertically, it'd be half of her height. I don't know if is that the same bird from earlier? I don't think it is. But I remember loving this. One of my favorite like entrances. Like even in the daylight outside, this still looks pretty cool, pretty badass. He's being tugged by these Roman guys.
That's a monster. 8 feet tall, 460 pounds.
And there's Tweety and Sylvester right there.
Well, fans young and old alike enjoying this, and that's what a set of
I'm glad that thing's tied down. His little legs.
And vultures looking to clean up something. You know, they usually hover over. They can sense things. It's din-din time for that big bird.
Ooh, he's flapping. He's trying.
But the giant Gonzalez just may pluck the feathers on that bird and the Undertaker in one move.
Well, this one's going to be quite interesting because the rather, we said, stoic, somewhat morbid individual is the Undertaker. His popularity is rather
Get a
incredible
load of
here.
it. Look at how they're staring at each other. But the Undertaker is looking up.
He's so huge.
He's looking up at the giant Gonzalez.
I remember when he debuted, I didn't buy the Rumble that year. I watched it on the scrambled feed. And when I heard Gorilla and Bobby talk about who was coming down to the ring, I was like, that's got to be El Gigante from WCW. That way they were like, he's 8 feet tall. And I hadn't seen El Gigante in a while in WCW. And so I was just kind of putting it together in my head. I'm like, I bet you they brought him in. It turned out that's what it was.
At the Royal Rumble in Sacramento, he manhandled, he mauled the Undertaker. And he's gonna do it again.
Yo, the Juliet, thank you for hooking up William with a good mic work membership.
Almost 800 pounds combined weight up. But
Two people.
yeah, two guys.
The whole front row don't weigh 800 pounds here at Caesars.
We want to welcome our radio audience.
Look at this for a stare down or a stare up.
Giant Gonzalez
Or stare up.
and the Undertaker.
Undertaker's not here for no reason.
Big time forearms there. Big roundhouses by the 8-foot giant Gonzalez. Again, we welcome our radio audience listening in most of these United States.
I love it.
Big right hand, and the giant is rocked. Another right hand by the Undertaker, and another right hand. The 8-foot giant Gonzalez reeling back in the corner, holding a massive hand, engulfing the throat of the Undertaker.
But did you notice the Undertaker grabbed the giant Gonzalez by the throat? Didn't affect him. He just took that big, huge hand and shoved him back.
The Undertaker at 6'10", standing on the second rope, but he's still being chosen.
The incident
This is brutal.
Look at this. He's pretty smart, the Undertaker. Got the
Oh, that was a cheap shot.
There might be a fight going on the hard cam side there on that top level or in that first level.
Giant Gonzalez
There's some people like holding each other back or something. See?
never went off his feet. He stayed vertical.
He's pointing at him and shit. I'm more interested in that. Show that fight.
from down under. Is he human? Is the man human? We're gonna find out. Are either of them human? We're gonna find out.
The Undertaker at 6'2", walking the top rope, and a black tie, those gray boots, walking right down the top rope, showing great balance. He has a giant Gonzalez at 460 pounds and a great deal of trouble, reeled back into the ring.
You can say that again.
Huge, huge individual. Oh, the referee trying to get the Undertaker to bring the giant out of the giant Gonzalez out of the corner. And the Undertaker walks right in that big foot, Bobby.
Bigfoot. Oh, you aren't kidding.
The Roman Coliseum will never be the same.
Yes, next week is Revolution, the 9th, March 9th. Most likely we will be here watching that unless I go to the show.
One as of yet in his career has been unable to stop this man.
Look how he's manhandled.
I wasn't anticipating all these doctor visits I'm going to have in the next couple months. So to kind of put a kink in my schedule.
Last time you saw the Undertaker beaten by anybody? I never have.
I've never in my career.
Yeah, but your career spans about 3 hours. That's it.
Still haven't seen it happen.
You were parking cars out front when I walked into there.
Chinlock
Bobby.
by Giant Gonzalez.
I love that Bill Alfonso's a ref for this one.
Over the Undertaker. What a beautiful day here in Las Vegas, live here at WrestleMania 9.
Hey, Willard Scott, we don't need a weather forecast.
Willard Scott.
Can't believe Mr. Perfect got beat and then knocked out.
I can't believe the way the Undertaker is being taken apart.
Well, it's far from over.
Nothing left. I'll
Reverse
agree with you on that. But he's still taking it to him.
Reverse chinlock by Giant Gonzalez. And the Undertaker, back now, he comes off that one knee, trying to get back up to a vertical base here. But as long as the Giant Gonzalez can keep that huge arm in the reverse chinlock position around.
Yeah, it was weird. Like that, the previous year, like the Warrior was wearing that like spray paint bodysuit with muscles. I'm like, he already has muscles.
I hate to think
It's weird.
Undertaker couldn't be Giant Gonzalez. This guy might be walking all over every superstar in the World Wrestling Federation. This is a big match right
Definitely.
here. This is a test.
Look at the size of the hands on this Giant Gonzalez. You know, some people can palm a basketball. This guy could probably palm a Buick.
He could palm the ring.
And the referee checking the arm of the Undertaker. And the Undertaker, there's the Paul Bear on the outside. That urn high above his head.
He draws some kind of fun, some kind of power, some kind of feeling for that urn.
He bit her.
The Undertaker back up to a vertical base, fighting back up.
And this crap wouldn't end. Taker would miss the next Mania, but the one after that it would be Bundy. You know, like every year they just got some bullshit for him.
And he's trying to distance himself from the Giant Gonzalez. And Gonzalez just manhandled the Undertaker.
Just shoved him aside, threw a 300-some-pound man up like a fly.
You got to wrestle Diesel at 12. That was a little bit more high profile of a match, but you know, and then finally winning the title at WrestleMania 13. But he's right back at it again at 14, wrestling Kane. And then he was in the Hell in a Cell nonsense with Boss Man. Oof.
Gonzalez just ran the Undertaker's face into those steel ring steps. And you can hear the impact of that. And again, oh, he does it again. And he takes him upside down. Those are solid.
Manhandling Undertaker.
Some type of mental.
Mania's gonna get in trouble for noise pollution.
Look at this. He is manhandling. He is mauling the Undertaker. It is curtains for the Undertaker. That bird
It's curtains.
out here and start flying around because he can have Din Din off the floor right here with the He's back on his feet. Look at this.
But Paul Bear with an urn, and that's got some sort of mystic or motivational something. I don't
That's a victory in itself for the Undertaker even to be standing.
You're right. You're exactly right. After being thrown into those steel steps.
I wonder where everybody is like changing, like where the locker rooms are. They have little trailers out there or something.
Vertical base with the headbutt from the 8-foot tall Giant Gonzalez puts the Undertaker back down, but not for long. He's back up again.
The Giant is amazed. The Giant is amazed. He just looked over at Whippleman like, what's happening? How come he keeps getting up?
Tremendous
Look at
right
this.
for the Undertaker. Another one.
It's crazy how tall Gonzalez is.
Kicking him in the ribs as the Undertaker on Giant Gonzalez here at WrestleMania 9.
So, Elegante in WCW.
An Undertaker.
You know, apparently the Giant can't stop the Undertaker. Wouldn't that
Oh, maybe not.
He can stop him. He's staggering.
Was Mean Mark and Elegante in WCW together at any time? Like right before? Maybe not. They might have been though.
Into oblivion. The Undertaker throws Whitman down outside.
The chloroform.
He's got a cloth.
smothering the Undertaker?
He's smothering the Undertaker.
What's that smell? What is that smell?
That's chloroform. What do they call that?
Chloroform. It's chloroform.
It's chloroform. You can smell that. Nobody else in the crowd seems to notice the stench. Only the announcers. Like, it really stinks. The crowd seems fine. Kid's licking his ice cream cone.
Gonzalez has some sort of claw, and
You can smell that. I mean, only we can smell it.
the Undertaker's looked down.
Secret here.
Has he given up? What is going on?
The fans are protected by the invisible fan force field.
Guy with that.
And, boy, this is a tense situation here.
Everybody
What's
gets
going on?
You chloroformed the Undertaker.
Well, it's over. It is over for the Undertaker. R.I.P., pal. Rest in peace.
problem here, and that's the health of the Undertaker.
No, the Undertaker has a problem here.
The Undertaker's got a problem, and Giant Gonzalez has got a problem. If he did what I think he
Boy,
did.
look at the officials pour out of the dressing room.
Yeah, then ether, right? Yeah, then it'd be, ooh, what's that smell? It's ether. They always do. And the same thing with the gasoline. Oh, you can smell it.
This is terrible. The Undertaker lying
Like the crowd seems fine.
unconscious. But the Giant Gonzalez.
This is worse than getting knocked out like the narcissist's been doing.
I love that Rene Goulet is in a toga,
Hasn't moved a muscle.
but none of the other officials are.
The Undertaker.
Goulet's like, I'm going to do the toga.
Just done here at
I'm doing toga tomorrow.
Worse beating than he took the last time that Giant Gonzalez got his hands on the Undertaker.
Beating, this is different.
Like Pat's out there. He's not wearing a toga.
He hasn't moved a muscle.
Well, you can still smell the stench of that chloroform.
Oh, Jack Doan in a toga.
Bringing up
So some guys are doing it.
medical.
Oh, man.
Boy, this is
Well, you can smell it out. This is an open air Roman Coliseum live from Las Vegas right now. We're watching this happen at the second that we're
Oh, there's Dave Hebner on the outside. Oh, no. Look at that. Like a yo-yo. Oh. That's going to cost him some bread. Alfonso's the same size, is about as small as Whippleman.
no one wants to be in there with this big monster who stands approximately 8 feet tall. And now we got that.
Strongbow's out there.
He knows how to end the party real quick, don't he?
I've never seen this man on a stretcher. He's put a lot of bodies on stretchers, but I've never seen him on one.
Undertaker stretchered out.
Launches us on the stretcher and being taken out of the Coliseum here at Caesar's Palace. And now they're having to drag the referee out of the ring.
Remember what Giant Gonzalez said? It was going to be a giant funeral.
They're diverting.
What they had in mind.
They're diverting.
The Undertaker
They were
still
talking
has
about. Shut up, Heenan.
The Undertaker being carted out of here.
hasn't moved.
And they can't get the Giant.
They're chanting for Hogan to come out.
Refuses to leave the ring.
And they're yelling.
That'd be crazy if Hogan's music hit and he came out and took out Giant Gonzalez.
The Giant Gonzalez at 8 feet tall, 460 pounds.
We've got a serious situation here.
What's that?
That's the Undertaker.
He's back. It's like Paul Bear's trying to hold him back. He's like, he chloroformed me.
The Undertaker rocks the Giant Gonzalez with right hands. He kicks him in the gut. He's got the big man reeling. And a clothesline. He staggers Giant Gonzalez. The Undertaker. Another close
One more. Knock him down.
time of the ropes. And he takes the big man down.
He's down. What a sell.
Gonzalez down. Paul Bearer trying to restrain the Undertaker, if at all possible.
This isn't over. This is not over. They're going to take it right out into the desert, probably.
Oh, this is far from over. Here comes
What happened?
Here come the Caesar's Palace security.
Caesar's Palace. Look at these guys. With super troopers out here.
To change Giant Gonzalez's name.
Look at the security. Look at these guys. It's an SNL sketch.
Well, he may have won this battle by disqualification, but the war is far from over between these two monsters, I'll tell you.
Mission impossible is possible. It's been done.
The security is so funny. It's that SNL sketch where they're like, the Bears. That's who the security was. Yeah, this was a bad Undertaker match.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to Mean Gene Okerlund. All right, thank you, Jimmy Ross. I hope that
Jimmy Ross.
Bobby Heenan can get to a store of some sorts and get to maybe an underwear salesman. Now that there's so much happening here at WrestleMania season,
An underwear salesman.
Vegas, Nevada,
I don't think you don't need a salesman. Just go to the store, buy some underwear.
the World Wrestling Federation
Can you show me your best underwears?
Man Hart squaring off against the 505-pound challenger from Japan, Yokozuna, of course, managed by Mr. Fuji. They came to the World Wrestling Federation, and of course, they have people standing on end talking about this big sumo wrestler from Japan. They came, and immediately Mr. Fuji said, "We'll challenge anybody who can take this man off his feet." One of the first to step up and issue a challenge to Mr. Fuji on that very subject was none other than Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, we're going to show some replays of all the people Yokozuna has fucked up on his way here. Bonsai! I think that's the Freeman Coliseum there in San Antonio, right? Recognizable building. Damn, Duggan with his mouth open. It's like they always rehash it. This is the same thing that happened to Duggan with the earthquake.
You'll never get used to seeing something like that from the 505-pound mammoth Yokozuna. Now, just last week, I personally was on hand for the contract signing, the official signing for the match between Bret the Hitman.
Oh, yeah. Then Yoko attacks him during the contract signing, too. Bonsai dropping Bret.
It has been a very difficult and trying week for Bret the Hitman.
What's up, Chris? Good night, Garrett.
And of course, the odds makers right now are saying
He had Wade Rent-A-Cops, 2.5s.
will be the new World Wrestling Federation champ. I'll tell you what, I can't think of a better individual who can share with us his perspective.
Oh, yeah. I should have, and I knew something was up. I'm like, why are they asking him about it? They did the same thing when the Warrior dropped the belt to Slaughter. They interviewed him, and he's like, he's defacing the American flag, and he was freaking out. You could tell they were moving into that. So the way I saw this was Bret's going to drop the title to Yoko, and then Yoko will drop it to Hogan at a later date. I didn't think it would all happen in the same match. Man.
First off, with my bionic brother Brutus, and then last night leaving the gym here in Vegas. I guess money can buy certain liberties around this town. They took it out on the Hulkster brother, but the little Hulkamaniacs pushed me towards the ring. You know, Bret Hart.
Look at his eyes. So
Warning to the wise, brother. You're a Hulkamaniac. And since so many people are stepping over the line, I want you to watch this Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji like a cat, brother. I want you to watch every move. And I also want you to know, brother, that me and all my Hulkamaniacs are on your side. But as I looked into the eyes of Bret Hart just a few minutes ago,
it was weird for me to hear Hogan talking about Bret Hart, you know?
I know the greatness of Hulkamania. And as I looked into Bret Hart's eyes, I even questioned Hulk.
I mean, Hogan's putting Bret over here, but that's only because he knows he's winning the title later.
I'm issuing the challenge to either you or the Jap, brother. Whoever wins the WWF title, I want the first shot at it. But let me tell you something, Mean Gene. With me, all my Hulkamaniacs, and the attitude that Bret Hart has, I guarantee you, dude, the WWF title is staying right
They should have done Bret and Hogan at SummerSlam.
in the US of A. And watch
Hogan sucks.
That's good enough for me. As a matter of fact, I'm calling the sports book right now. Ladies and gentlemen, standing by, my colleague Todd Pettengill out in the audience somewhere. Whoa, my
Thank you, Gene Okerlund. Thank you, Hulk Hogan. 16,000 strong here in Las Vegas. I want to show you just a couple of the fans. We have Prince Charles ears. I don't know who's wearing them, but those are definitely Prince Charles ears. How are you? Where are you from? Good. I used to live there 10 years. I had a great time.
That kid's like 40 years old now.
Look at this. Where are you guys from?
Southern California.
And how'd you get out here?
Are we doing a Harley? Harley. In the sidecar.
All right. Stay.
No, he was in the sidecar. Those guys are funny. He was in the sidecar. No, he was in the sidecar.
Are you going to bring him back? We are wild. Calm down. You're spilling beer. Let's go back to my colleagues, Jim Ross.
I feel like they were plants. They just said Southern California. They didn't say what city.
Okay, Todd, thanks very much, gentlemen. The time has come. The WWF
Look at that girl behind them. That's 1993 hair, if I ever saw it.
For Bret Hart, he's giving away 271 pounds.
Let's get it on right now. World title match. Yokozuna versus Hitman. Do it.
Let's not wait any longer. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest scheduled for one fall
Here we go.
for the World Wrestling Federation.
Dark memory for me. Can't believe you guys are making me watch this.
Coming down the aisle with Mr. Fuji is the challenger. Weighing 505 pounds, Yokozuna.
The main event.
The odds would be so much in the favor of that man.
Well, you know something funny? Just as Yokozuna walked out to the ring, the clouds have come over Caesar. That tells me something. That tells me the Hitman is in very, very serious trouble.
There's a black cloud, all right. The Hitman's already had a big day. Started by getting knocked out by the infamous now narcissist. Earlier, yes,
The infamous narcissist.
Give a black eye, broken nose.
I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. Hulk Hogan had a bad day already, too.
The odds makers here in Vegas have Yokozuna as the heavy favorite, we are told, for this championship event. And now let's listen to this ovation.
No, I don't think WWE would have made Hogan a heel in 93. So it would probably have to be a babyface match. And if the plan was for Hogan to put over Bret, Hogan obviously didn't want to do that. I think Bret's always held that against him. And I don't blame him. I was so into Bret at the time. Now that Bret Hart doll kind of looks like Tommy Wiseau or whatever his name is, the room guy. Oh, hi, Mark. Bret looks so good with the wingy. It's going to take Bret a whole year to get back to this title, and it was a rough year for me. Just waiting for that. Damn, that kid's got everything. He's got the doll, he's got the Tommy Wiseau doll, and he's got the Bret Hart shades. Well, yeah, Victor. Well, I knew they had radio WWF for a while that was broadcasting these on radio. Beyond that, I'm not sure what else they were doing. And I think they're about to do something again like that this year, right? Savage.
Second generation, his daddy is proud.
She had 11 in the first litter.
What do you expect?
I always thought it was 12 Hart kids, but I think they say 11 because the one died. So he's one of 11 existing children, but I always thought it was 12 total. And the one that had died kind of young. I'm not sure what the actual total is. I always thought it was 12.
Talk about Bret Hart being a second-generation wrestler. His grandfather was a member of the 1912 U.S. Olympic team. So he comes from a long line of great competitors.
Bret's coming right at him. Running drop kick. Bret's like, might as well YOLO this.
You know what strategy this is? He came right at Yokozuna.
Brett's trying to like waist lock him. No. Jeez, mowed down.
With that tackle, Bret Hart tried to go behind Yokozuna, was successful there, but he couldn't put his arms around him to waist lock.
What? Yokozuna doesn't want to win by a count out because he won't get the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. I don't know if he's smart enough to realize it. Yes, he is. He's coming out after.
Macho.
Hitman was coming in. You're right. It's going to take more than that to beat the Hitman.
Yokozuna kicking through the ropes, and Bret Hart.
Oh, there. That's smart. See? There you go. And then, boom. Hard diving hunt. I love that. Yes, I am right. I'm the brain. Yeah, there you go. Start hitting your moves. Can you jump off the second rope with that? Oof, nice. You got to get Yoko's foot out. It's out.
And finally, the referee is able to get Yokozuna out of those ropes. Bret Hart used the ropes for momentum, hit him with a clothesline, and it locks the big man.
The longer this match goes, it's more in favor of the Hitman.
By Yokozuna. And when you get nailed by a 505-pound man, as we look at Mr. Fuji, the infamous manager of this individual, it is like getting
Infamous manager.
Let me tell you something. I know firsthand because I wrestled Yokozuna and he ran over me, and that's why he's the challenger for the championship belt. I'm honest. I'm telling you right now. But if anybody can do it, the pink and black, the Hitman can.
That's true. Respect. Macho. As a wrestler, I would not want to take that Yoko leg drop. I mean, it's mostly just fat that's hitting you, but still, man, if he just missed times that, like, that's my head. I use that to think and see and talk. Without it, I don't know what good I am. We got headless mic work here. Trying to do streams. Wouldn't work. Most people, from what I understand, can't survive without a head. From what I've read.
Yokozuna could join the annals of Sadaharu Oh, the great all-time Japanese home run hitter, in immortality by winning this championship.
This is it. This is the big one.
The sun is slowly setting on Bret the Hitman Hart.
Man, he Hart on the canvas.
It's his own fault.
Huge man.
It's his own fault defending the title like he has, taking on all comers.
I love the security guard with their arms spread. I think it's a woman. That's badass.
It's totally awesome. You just can't be moved around.
Perhaps Macho Man, if Bret Hart can just survive and
Yeah, whatever they're going to do here, they got to wrap it up because Hogan's got to come out and
monster,
they got to do all that. Right now, I'm just checking out that security guard in the back there.
Every split second that goes by is precious to the Hitman. No doubt.
Savage, when you were champion on 2 occasions, were you constantly aware of the time that had gone by in a match?
Never was.
You never were concerned about that.
Never was. I never faced a guy like Yokozuna.
What was the start time for this show locally? I mean, it's still light out.
I had confidence. Every champion has had.
It's probably like a 3 p.m. start or something like that.
Well, he's going to need more than confidence here to beat Yokozuna.
You're right about that.
martial arts right back in the throat there by Yokozuna. Irish whip. Bret Hart right to the corner, and you can hear the impact. Yokozuna trying to catch him in the corner, but Hart got the feet up. Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamaniacs. No doubt watch this one.
Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamaniacs watching this. Why are you even bringing him up? Why are you even bringing Hogan up? He has nothing to do with this. I knew something was up. That made me super suspicious. All this Hogan chatter.
The sharpshooter on Yokozuna. He's going to have to get a pin.
Yokozuna back up, and the martial arts kick. Oh, that's phenomenal flexibility.
That security guard dead center is cracking me up. I've never noticed that person before.
Just unbelievable. Look at him.
And he's not even
Oh, 1 p.m. All right, it's a pretty early start then.
105 pounds. Been in the ring now over 10 minutes, and he's not breathing heavy.
Seems like he's got ice water in his veins.
Bret Hart trying to get back up to a vertical base. He must, if he can, distance himself or either try to to get this huge monster off his feet. And once again, that oriental nerve hole digging into the trapezius muscle of Bret Hart. Yokozuna's punishing the champion, and he's also making Hart carry some more of that weight, Macho Man.
I give Hitman all kinds of credit right here, and just the fact that he's still in the ball game right here. Come on, Hitman. Listen to people, huh?
Bret Hart.
Respect is what they're saying right there. Respect for the Hitman. I know about that. No, they're saying USA is what they're saying.
You know, Bret, the guy's from Canada, the other guy's from Japan.
Martial arts thrust again to the throat. The hand extended into the neck. Throat area. Bret Hart, Irish whip, far side. This man, he's measuring Yokozuna on the far side. There he comes.
Ooh, I like the avalanche, but where you turn and hit him with your back instead. Bulldog coming. Cover him.
Hart, lateral press, but Yokozuna powered out.
Now, Hart, if he's smart, he'll keep him down. That's the only way he's going to win it.
Oof.
To keep Yokozuna on that.
Hart knee turn from the second rope. Lateral press again. He got getting up two, but Yokozuna so strong.
What an effort by the Hitman.
What's he going for here? Clothesline. There, he's down now. He's up. He beat Bret to his feet.
But he's up again.
Bret hit him with the clothesline, and Yoko got up first.
That's quicking the pace here. He's moving, making the big man move. No, Yokozuna hooks those legs.
The Hitman is a fighting champion.
Hart trying to hold on to the turn.
Buckles off.
I'll give credit to where credit is due. I thought Bret the Hitman would lay back. I thought he'd make Yokozuna run out of gas. Since the bell started, he's taking it right to him. And that's probably going to be...
Oh, no. Oh, Yoko eats the buckle. There you go. That's how you put the sharpshooter on. Just get him from behind when he's already down. He's got it on him. I really think Bret should have beat him with this move at WrestleMania 10. So stupid that he didn't. Fuji's going for salt. Another illusion. And he just gets to pin him? Hogan's out in seconds.
Yes, we do. And I told you.
Hulk Hogan here. At the end, right there. He's turning.
Hogan, you big man.
Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji on. Trying to talk to. Mr. Fuji, we're trying to listen and pick up what he's saying here, ladies and gentlemen.
My Yokozuna, issue your challenge. If any vessels fortitude you'd accept my Yokozuna's challenge. Come on! Come on, you yellow belly, come on!
You yellow belly.
He says as Yokozuna's issuing a challenge to Hulk Hogan, that Hogan is more concerned with helping his friend Bret Hart.
We need one more second. We will put on a new WWF heavyweight belt. On the line, right now.
He says, Fuji says, he'll put the WWE
Right now.
right now. Mr. Fuji has
Why can't Bret go in and get it?
WWF title on the line right now. This is a
I mean, Bret gave this blessing, but still, what a crock of shit this was. And here comes the salt. Of course, Hogan's not going to get hit with it. Takes Yoko down with the clothesline, leg drop. Oh, my God. I mean, the pop that got. I mean, that was... So I like Bobby Heenan's reaction is perfect. What the hell is going on here? I remember on Raw the next night, them being like, Hogan is the new champion, and there was a big part of the audience that didn't know that. We're expecting to turn on Raw seeing Yoko or Brett. And they're like, Hogan, what? Look, Savage is out there clapping for him. Crazy, crazy, terrible ending. Heartbreaking ending for me as a fan at the time. I really thought these days were over. It was just crazy that it just was suddenly back. No, psych. It's going to be back for like a minute, and then it's going to be gone again. Two times in one night. If this match would have just been Yoko winning, you would have told the same story going into WrestleMania the next year. So it's like Hogan didn't even need to be here for any of this. You know, that's an impressive setup. That pull back there, the wide shot of the crowd and everything, it was well done. Like, it does look pretty cool. I just wasn't sure how I felt about the matches in the ring. With all that wind and stuff, it just felt off. Well, we knocked out finally one of the bad ones. That's pretty exciting. Next week, we will be here to watch Revolution. So that means 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be here to watch another probably not so great WrestleMania. And I think we're going to do WrestleMania 2 next time around. Then maybe after that, 11. And then if we have time, we'll chuck in a 10 or something. Or maybe we do a good one like 23. We need one good one. So maybe after WrestleMania 2, we'll do 23. And then we'll go back and knock out a bad one. Maybe finish off with WrestleMania 11, something like that. Zane G, you got 5 for us. If John Cena would have won the Royal Rumble, would the heel turn still have happened? I thought about that too. They could have just done this whole thing at the Rumble, but I think they would have had to start it earlier with The Rock dropping these hints, coming back, wanting Cody's soul. So they had to do it at the Chamber on a night that Cody wasn't going to have a match and do the segment. So, you know, you could have done it at the Rumble and written everything to fit it that way and then have Jay win the Chamber. It would have worked. And then we'd have a couple of, extra weeks there of a Cena heel turn. But I kind of like the way they did it. They pulled it off well. It was really good. You could tell that's going to be a big deal. So I'm excited to see where the year takes us. I think I hit everybody else. Didn't miss any supers. Thank you again, as always, for being here, guys. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button yet and you want to hit that on the way out the door, I would very much appreciate that. And make sure you join us tomorrow night after Raw. I will put up a link up later tonight. Hopefully WWE will advertise something so I know what to put in the thumbnail. But we will be here tomorrow night watching Raw, and we'll stick around and review the show as well. So more streaming coming your way. Thanks again for being here, and I'll be catching you guys tomorrow night for Raw. Have a good Sunday night. Peace.